that they root for both surfers. As you see again, going to heat number 2, Sebastian Zietz and Wiggly Dantas all the way down this round 3. So important for a lot of these surfers. When we saw those round 2 matchups and some of those top seeds going down, this one just as important this round here.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Jack Freestone going down in round 2 to Federico Moraes. Great matchup that one was. But he was in the finals last year. He's not going to be there this year, Pete.
Yeah, that's a bummer for him. Again, the conditions being a little bit challenging, but I did notice as I was sitting kind of in the competitors area that the waves looked pretty darn good this back half of the day, because the conditions are holding, but all of a sudden the tide's just that right tide. And we saw a couple mean right-handers, even one that decided to spit its guts out. So maybe we might see a couple barrels.
Yep, it's been
fingers crossed.
Well, we saw some heaving right-handers, as you mentioned there, Pete, running into the rip. So it looks set for round 3 here. You can see the security on hand. Of course, wave runner in the background there. Lots of sweep in the ocean. As Ian Gouveia prepares for his encounter here.
Well, this youngster, is next generation. His father been on tour, like one of the guys that I looked at as one of the most stylish surfers of his time. One of those, kind of Kern-esque, the way he brought this really quiet approach and upper body. And the DNA did not miss out on Ian Gouveia, as he's here on the championship tour and one of the best surfers out there.
Absolutely. I think we should quiz Potts a little more about his encounters with Fabio Gouveia from the day. Certainly, we know that Potts had his showdowns with Dave McCauley. Of course, Bronte McCauley here, part of the championship tour this year. It's great to be able to delve back and see these this is a second generation Brazil right here in action.
It is. The Brazilians have been able to work hard to get to that point now. They've got world champions. They've got, what is it, the count of how many Brazilians are on tour now? But I mean, it's as many as the Australians and the Americans. So they're a surfing powerhouse. 11 on tour, which is incredible on both the men's and women's side, right? So it's pretty nuts that this country has turned it around so quickly and become one of the surfing superpowers.
Well, absolutely. Adriano de Souza, such a hero. Yeah, this young man, Ian Gouveia, on screen, fast becoming a super popular, nationwide popular name. Carlos Burle, you'll know much about that role. Talk to us about Ian Gouveia.
Hey, the time has come. All these guys from Brazil, the young generation, they have Adriano as a reference. He's the big idol. But as a young kid coming up, they all want to beat their favorite surfer in the country. And maybe, the time is right here in Saquarema. It's going to be the first time that young Gouveia will have a chance to go against Adriano de Souza in his hometown, Brazil. And let's see what's going to happen.
So true. I mean, and Carlos being also one of those major influences throughout the Brazilian, on the big wave side. So it's been a fun watch of this, talent pool come together, and then now the next generation pulling up. And it's just going out into the 2020. Who's going to be winning gold at the Olympics?
Wow.
It could be the Brazilian country.
That's going to be a tough team to make. Team Brazil in 2020. Lots of talent here.
Yes, sir.
Of course, Carlos, we've been talking much about the Olympics here. A young man like Ian Gouveia on screen, good chance that he could be a gold medalist one day.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure he thinks about that every single day that he goes trains. Every single guys here in Brazil, the young generation of surfers, anyone, they still they are thinking about representing our country in Tokyo in 2020. I would do the same if I was their age, for sure. I'll be focused on the Olympic Games.
And Carlos, such a big impact that Adriano de Souza has had on making the sport much more mainstream here in Brazil. I mean, he's just such a popular figure as well these days.
Well, him and Gabriel Medina, they both did a great job. It was amazing for me to witness what happened to the surf in this country. We are to the top of the game right now, just comparing ourselves to the soccer, which we call football here in Brazil. And for me, this is amazing where I come from. When we first started, we didn't have anything compared to what's going on right now. And it's been a pleasure just to be here and witness everything. Thanks, Adriano. Thanks, Gabriel. And thanks, the Brazilian Storm.
And thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carlos. I'm going to ask one last question, though. There's heat in the water. What are you thinking for a winner here?
He's gone.
No, he's gone.
He's paying attention.
He's locked on to the action, and we will be getting this underway. All Brazilian affair here. The natural versus goofy foot will be part of the discussion here, but also all the experience of Adriano de Souza.
I don't know if you took note there, but Ian Gouveia, the rookie, kind of playing that old bull trick. He kind of throws out Adriano, made him sit in the rip for a little while. I don't know if that was by strategic, but by strategy, but you know, he definitely took his time to get to the water's edge.
So we'll see if Ian Gouveia can mentally tackle Adriano de Souza here. Of course, physically, both of these surfers, incredible talents. Cannot help but give all the credit to Adriano de Souza for one of the hardest working professional careers.
For sure.
Globally, never mind just out of the Brazilian camp.
Yeah, and he made it. He made it on tour at a very early age, so he was able to learn. But he saw and understood his weaknesses, and he worked to improve them, and he has. You know, I mean, it's an example. I mean, if you were to go, say, to Tahiti or to Fiji or to Pipeline, and you think, oh, I don't know if Adriano can win here, but now, heck yeah, he can win. He can win every one of those events.
And you know, you look at his championship tour wins, goes all the way back to 2009, winning in Mundaka. So he's been around a long time,
well,
right? On a left as well,
no,
right?
well, it wasn't actually, because that day that was the one that moved to the beach breaks. But you know, either way, he has improved. Like I said, in the places that he needed to, he has done that. He's been putting in the time. He's parked himself at those breaks.
Ian Gouveia, one of 6 new rookies on tour in 2017. Moderate results for Ian Gouveia at this stage. 2 13th and a 25th is what he achieved in the Australian leg. So comes in here to this 4th stop, the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona, in 24th position on the Jeep leaderboard. Only 2 heat wins. One of them he did get over Connor O'Leary and Owen Wright at North Point.
Nice work. You know, he ended up getting the one really solid wave in that 3-man heat. But as you recall, we called his heats at the QS 10,000 in Cascais. And there was a run that he went on, because you remember he won the 6,000 event in the Azores and then came into Cascais, and there was like 4 events in a row where he just made the finals each and every time, and he amassed a ton of points. So you can get on a little bit of a rhythm. As you see, the crowd's loving it, eating up. I mean, they've got all their fans. It's awesome to see.
Well, Ian Gouveia, 9th on the qualifying series at the end of 2016.
That's his foundation there that Adriano's put together to help here in his home country. Again, he knows, this kid knows how to do things right.
Yeah, we've mentioned the consummate professional that Adriano de Souza is. And of course, literally royalty now in his home country here.
He's earned it.
Absolutely. No rides at this early stage. Burnt up about 3.5 minutes. If you're just joining us, we are into round 3. And in the men's format, it is an elimination heat. So this is an important encounter. Adriano de Souza, of course, successful as always through the Australian leg. No wins for him though, but he's always in that top 10 picture and more.
Ultra consistent. And as a world title threat, you have to be. You have to be one of those surfers that you could win every event, every stop that you have. All 11 are unique, and all 11 have their little specialties that you need to know and understand.
Of course, Adriano de Souza understands the game in Brazil. Former winner here. Look back on the history sheets. De Souza, 2011, taking out a championship tour win here, one of his 6. Of course, finaling as well. Let's have a look here. First strike will go to the rookie. Big hit, lots of spray flies, constructive foam climb as well. Lots of turbo boost off the tail of that second maneuver. Now Adriano de Souza running on the same track. Right-hand jam. Crowds are already going crazy here in the afternoon lights of Saquarema. Another jam. So So good, energized exchange to get us going here. And watch D'Souza beat Gouveia to the ski here.
They were both going for the same ski. Look at that strategy.
Did you see that?
Oh, that was amazing. And that was skis have to stay on the inside as they race all the way to the outside again.
Little mini race within a race within a race here.
You see this, though? Ultimately what happens on the insides, they're going to be as fair as possible. And the turn is going to go to Ian Gouveia. It's his turn to go. As we watch the replay here of this arc, 2 layback snaps. That one pretty strong for a finish move, especially with all that foam on the face. That first section, kind of a unique section. It didn't have a whole lot of scoring opportunity, but he created it by going under the lip and utilizing that layback snap. As we watch the replay here of Ian Gouveia on the backhand, beautiful positioning for that first move, and then again carries a lot of speed through that float and pulls it off clean. So 2 solid moves for Ian Gouveia, that combination of major moves where you go straight from maneuver to maneuver.
I like the riskiness. I like the riskiness of Gouveia's turns there, Pete. What are you thinking? I'm gonna stick my neck out and say
That's a big neck, though. I don't know.
Look, you're doing all the analyzing. I couldn't help but think as I watched D'Souza ride that wave that there were a couple of little fakes to what was going on there. I didn't think that was.
All right.
I mean, he
so
did the power gouges.
Are you dating that you like Ian's way better?
Well, let's make that a topic of discussion as the panel works for that first set of scores. I just like that flow of Gouveia. That snap was clean.
All right. Well, I think they're going to be pretty darn close. Similar scores. Even though Adriano was able to get one more maneuver in there, that final move, I'd have to say that the strength of Ian's first maneuver was stronger, even though he only was able to pick up. Both these waves were kind of smaller waves as far as what we've seen. Nice connection there. It's straight to the bottom, up into the lip. So nice combo of 2 solid moves. Again, here's a better angle of it. This is probably more what the judges would be seeing it, as they are positioned kind of more up the beach. These guys are going to be surfing away from them. But I agree that the first turn definitely went to Ian's side. But I like the final move, personally, of Adriano D'Souza. I like where he placed it. Like the spray that he created. But the judges are having to think about it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I just felt that D'Souza was a touch conservative. First priority to Gouveia, so he'll block out D'Souza. And now wave number 2 underway for the rookie. Another tight hit again, so great radius there. Water flying, and the beach is erupting here.
They're loving this action, Gouveia's given himself a good run here. The backhand, you have that bit of advantage to go a lot more vertical in the approach. You're putting your board straight up into the lip. Whereas on the forehand, you're going to be able to carry speed and have probably a little bit more ability to have variety. So here you see the priority is with Blue, so he has the ability to ride any wave he wants, and Adriano has to stay out of his way. But of course, Adriano, when he does that, you see that nice, strong finish move. As you look above, Adriano did well to stay out of his way, but making Ian commit. So another 2-turn combo.
So 2 waves for the rookie now. Judges owe us for both, and well, numbers are starting to appear, so we'll talk about the numbers shortly. A 7.17 aroused for D'Souza and a 6.5 for Gouveia. So judges went slightly in favor of the former world champion on that exchange.
Yeah, by a little over a half point. That extra maneuver, there was no hitches or no mistakes made there by Adriano, and that first section was a tough section. It didn't have the best scoring potential because the length of the wall was so short. It shouldered off really quickly. He did that kind of underneath the lip kind of carve. But again, he kept the flow all the way through that. Kept a lot of speed through his, had that final move. So I liked what the judges did there. If you look at the comparisons, pretty much every judge had Adriano slightly higher by about a half a point. And that's why that average came out that way. One judge actually had a full point better over Ian's. But Ian got himself the second wave now. And so that score has to post, and he's going to take the lead.
Well, D'Souza positioning on the main peak here in Saquarema. Conditions holding beautifully this afternoon. We stay with the light variable winds. If anything, a knot or 2 of sea breeze coming out of the south, as we are a south-facing beach, even though we are on the east coast. 8,000 kilometers of coastline here. Plenty of surf potential. And a massive surf population, close to 2 million. As we see Adriano de Souza activating wave number 2. Lovely wrap. Crowd's already going crazy here. Links it nice. Strong jam. More opportunity and a nice ride along the roof line there. So this is a great entertainment package here coming to you.
Adriano has such impeccable wave choice. You know, he gave himself the opportunity there, and then his choice of maneuvers as well. And he milks it all the way to the end. I mean, he literally went to the beach. He's going to milk. How passionate is that crowd? I mean, there's no other country in the world that you're going to see that kind of passion for their surfers.
Well, surfing is mainstream popular here. Of course, the Brazilians passionate about all of their sports that they represent. Proud of their Grand Prix drivers, of course. Gold medals being won last year at the Olympics.
Well, you remember Ayrton Senna, right? I mean,
exactly.
He is, you know, one of the best Formula One drivers ever. And the thing is, he represented the country, you know, on his sleeve. As you watch the replay here, Ian Gouveia on his last wave gets a little late to that section and just shoots his board out there. But then again, wave choice. This wave is going to be tapered the whole time. The big round arc. Was able to connect with the whitewash on the rebound. Again, a little bit stronger snap where he had some pressure. And then there, you see how he connected with the lip, but then he unweights because he knows that if he jams it in there, he's going to connect with the surging whitewash together. And he was able to time it so he floats over the section and comes out with speed. Lovely. It's a nice section here. Look at it. You see right there, he just floats the section. He stays up there as high as he possibly can so he doesn't have to deal with the two whitewaters converging, because if that happens, he could lose his board from under his feet. But again, that's just a timing issue that he has. And he knows exactly what to do in every different section.
Well, numbers coming in 8.5. The Brazilians are loving it. There's a carnival atmosphere going on here in Saquarema. Strada Wasilewski must surely be down there amongst it somewhere.
I am down here amongst it. I got all my homies back here. The whole place is kind of going nuts. They love the action, let me tell you. They love it, bro. Let me tell you, it's out of control down here. There's plenty to look at walking by on the beach. And not to mention, the surf action is amazing right now as the boys go off. The tide's coming up. People are getting wet. We love it.
Hey, Strider.
Saquarema.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Strider?
I can hear you now.
All right, cool. But I just wanted to ask you, you've been able to do this where you get the vibe at each and every venue on tour. Pretty much Brazil takes the cake, right?
Brazil takes the cake. There's nothing like the people down here, how psyched up they get. Not to mention, even with their countrymen battling each other, they love it. They love the competition. So passion like no other for sure.
Strada, we've got Wiggly Dantas coming up next, and then Gabriel Medina following that. So there's a ton of Brazilian entertainment here this afternoon.
He can't hear us.
He can't hear us.
He's swallowed.
Oh, we're loving it. We love our Strada Wasilewski down there amongst it. It's a Friday afternoon here, and people are flocking into Saquarema with good conditions still forecast for tomorrow. Very strong chance we'll bring more surfing entertainment to the world from this here region. And right now it is business with round 3 taking place, and it is an elimination round. Let's see how Adriano de Souza manages to keep this rookie in check. Of course, he is holding priority on the outside, and he's established scores of an 8.5 and a 7.17. Methodically efficient, as always, Adriano de Souza.
Well, and this is exactly how he pictures his heat. Like, all right, I'm going to get 2 solid scores. I'm going to, make sure that my waves are better than my competitors, and now I can start controlling the heat. I'm going to sit out with priority, which he has, and I am going to now better my 7.17. That's his goal. And he's going to do everything he can. And he's going to sit. He's not going to let Ian Gouveia get too far away as well. That's one of his strategies. He's just going to sit and hold it out.
Those surfers positioning. We're going to take a quick break and stay with us, because lots of entertainment coming to you this afternoon from Brazil.
is official. Adriano de Souza is the 2015 World Champion.
O Adriano nunca deixou de ser uma pessoa humilde.
Tudo aconteceu da maneira mais mágica que podia acontecer. Eu acho que no país que a gente mora, a gente tem uma falta de ídolos. E eu acho que com essas características, isso faz um ídolo, a gente precisa disso.
Muito gratificante para mim ter nascido e criado na favela, porque me transformou na pessoa que eu sou. Mas hoje eu vivo um outro mundo.
Ele ganhou a vida, foi uma vitória de vida, foi uma conquista linda.
Hoje eu quero me inspirar milhares de crianças que estavam ou estão na mesma situação que eu, né? Nasci no lugar zero e cheguei ao topo do mundo.
Adriano de Souza, an incredible profile. Lots of content on the worldsurfleague.com/profiles. Go and check it all out. A wonderful human story. As the Brazilian in red became the world champion at the end of 2015. And the incredible part is that Brazil was keeping 2 world titles back-to-back in that. Of course, Gabriel Medina coming up in 2 heats time here in round 3. While we're at the break, some action for us. It's a great encounter here between rookies and world champions.
Gouveia on the back end here. Look at this steep section. Tucks in and can't pull it off. I mean, full on. We saw opportunity for barrels earlier just on those bigger set waves. And just unfortunately, that one shut down on him pretty quickly. Look, reflecting on the career CT ranks for Adriano de Souza. He came on tour in 2006. Had never been in a threat to ever fall off. His first couple years finished in the mid-20s at a 20th and a 28th, but then 2008 finished 7th and has been top 10 pretty much every year. Had one kind of hiccup in 2013 where he finished 13th, and then last year the hangover, in 2016 where he finished 11th. But he's right back into that top 10 picture once again. So he is very consistent and has been for many years.
Now 30 years of age, Adriano de Souza. We always start questioning what is the longevity of these professional surfers. At least a good few, another 2 to 3 years for de Souza at least. Pete, what do you
I would say he's got more than that if
more
he wants
that,
it. Yeah,
right?
I mean, again, mainly because of how well these guys have been taking care of themselves. They're fit. As long as he stays away from injury, which he has had for most of his career. I know that he surfed through some injuries, but again, he's never missed a CT, and he's finished really hot. So he takes care of himself. He doesn't get hurt. He eats well, takes care of his body, fuels it. So I think he's got at least another 5 years. I mean, when you look at guys like Parco, who's having a very solid year, and he's 35. So it's like there's 5 more years at least.
And I think you make an important point there, Pete, is that they've got so much more insight with science about the physicality, about the body, biokinetics, etc., etc.
Yep, and then the league itself has been providing. There's top list doctors on site for every event. That helps. You look at equipment, and then also the venues on tour as well. The venues are experienced based. Places like Tavarua and Fiji, Chopo, those types of events. Experience plays more of a role than definitely just being young.
Well, that ticker tape bottom of screen was showing points that are available, 1,750 points. If you bail out in this round, it's not something that Wiggly Dantes will want to do either, as he gets ready for his encounter.
Well, he waxed his feet. That's a good sign.
De Souza, little progression element there, incomplete. As we move into the last third of this encounter.
The reason why they wax the top of their feet is when they get into the water, you can rub the top of your feet together, and it actually takes a little bit of, sometimes when you walk on the beach, your feet will get a little bit slimy. So it helps once you jump in the water, you get some film and some dirt. It's easy, wipes it off, and then all of a sudden you're stuck to your board, first wave.
Yep, you can get that on rocks and that as well, a bit of green moss and kelpie sort of slimes as well in the colder regions.
Even looking at 2017 for Adriano, he's already put a couple QS events together. He finished second in an event at the beginning of the season. And then he did a QS 1000 in Bali. Went to Karamas and surfed in the Mad Hui's event.
That man on screen doing the same thing.
And, yeah, so they didn't have to surf against each other. They're on opposite sides of the draw.
Both getting to the semi-finals, right?
Yep. You're thinking that, he knows he's on screen. That's so funny.
Oh, what a character, Sebastian Zietz.
He's you know what? That's cool. He knows how to have fun.
Taking on Wiggly Dantes. So the Brazilians are packing in here to support their athletes. Little slow patch in the heat here. Lots of current. You can see both surfers continuing to work to hold a stationary position on the main peak.
It's happy hour, Friday going into the weekend. I think it's just filling up. This town will be rocking tonight and into the weekend. We better get our dinner early. It'll be tough to get a seat.
Real sleepy seaside town here.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. D'Souza holds an 8.5 and a 7.17 in his top two scoreline. And he'll look at the left-handers. And that's how tricky the left can be with all the water moving. As we get closer to the high tide mark here.
It's a different rhythm, those lefts.
Yeah.
Being that you get used to having the water flow up from the current. And it sticks your board to your feet, and then all of a sudden it's moving with the wave. And you got to get used to that feeling. It's not going to have that same pressure of surfboard under your feet.
And of course, Adriano D'Souza this time last year, all the way to the semi-finals for a third place finish, one of his better results in his hangover year, as you called it. A little over 7 minutes to go here for rookie Ian Gouveia to find a big number, Pete, a 9.17. So he's been beaten on first and second wave comparisons. So both the exchanges each time going in favor of D'Souza. And D'Souza will find an inside right-hander. Have a look what he got. Squared up check snap. Upper body just twists a little bit. That's a lethal turn. As I say that, it becomes immune. He'll go down. 6.5 to go. What does Ian Gouveia do here? The Hail Mary now?
Well, with 6.5, he still has time. He can pick up two waves. I mean, if he can match and get himself an 8, he's right in it. And Adriano's got to be careful not to pull his foot off the gas, and he really hasn't. That wave there didn't have a ton of scoring potential, so he knew he had to kind of really push into it, which he did, but he goes down. But yeah, Ian's got to just not feel like he has to too much. Especially at 6 minutes, it's like, okay, just find yourself a quality wave, pace yourself, get yourself an 8. If all of a sudden everything goes really good, you end up getting that 9+, but you can't necessarily throw everything at it yet. He's got enough time that he can turn it in 2.
Little sea breeze fluffing the ocean surface here. Wonder if Ian Gouveia will be thinking about going to the air.
Well, this breeze, unfortunately, it's not necessarily the direction that's going to push it directly at your feet, but it doesn't matter. The best airlists can do it in all types of conditions, even offshore. You see that first exchange here in this recap, the 6.5 and the 7.17. Back-to-back, first exchange, going Adriano D'Souza's way. In our analyzation, we saw that they felt like it was, pretty close, and it was. But the substantial difference came in the second exchange, where this one was a 5.83, but Adriano found the 8.5, and this big round arcing turns, almost had a little bit of a hiccup there, but keeps it together and gets that into the excellent range with an 8.5, and that's been the difference. He's been able to win both exchanges, so he's your heat leader.
Love that little seesaw off the section on that last ride for D'Souza. In fact, I like the first wave a little more now that we saw it on the recap, Pete. I may retract my comment. There's your work rate. 7 waves for D'Souza, 4 for Gouveia, so a higher activity constantly through the heat from the heat leader, Adriano D'Souza.
Well, you figure what happened there was that, he got the 8.5, and then he was sitting without priority, so then go quick work, start riding waves when you're not really relinquishing that priority. You can start taking smaller inside waves and maybe produce a score just by finding a really good section and doing something really dynamic.
Just inside of 4 minutes to go. Second generation surfer Ian Gouveia, son of Fabio Gouveia, if you recognize the name and you're a long-standing surf fan. It is Fabio Gouveia's son. He's a rookie here in 2016. My apologies, 2017, finishing 9th in 2016 on that qualifying series.
Well, you remember with that runner-up finish in Cascais, she rocketed up the rankings even further and pretty much solidified his spot. I don't even know if he really even bettered his situation in Hawaii. I don't think he did. And
I think he actually bumped down a couple slots.
Oh no, for sure he did.
Yeah.
I think he was like 3rd or 4th after the Cascais event, which ended in October, and then he went. I think there's one more event after that, and then we started the Bands Triple Crown.
On screen, Kaio Belli having a chat with Kanoa Igarashi. Of course, Kaio Belli coming off of finals, inspiring the rest of the Brazilian field on this here championship tour by making the finals for the final event of the Australian leg over at Bells Beach a few weeks back now.
Well, both those guys will not be surfing today. Kaio is in heat number 8. He's up against Adrian Buchan. And Kanoa Igarashi, he'll be up against Felipe Toledo. Looking at that surfer there, Coco Ho, of course, but then Iago Dora, who will be up against John Florence. And that is a big one in heat number 6. That is not an easy draw for John Florence.
It's not an easy draw for Iago Dora either, because John Florence.
This is true, but we know that already.
Well, they'll be coming up in heat 6 on the draw. Of course, you can follow all of this on the World Surf League app as well. All the scores available on your handheld device. If you're watching us via Facebook Live, a window to the world's best here. Share us with your friends. Keep spreading the gospel of surfing as we move further into the future. 2020 World Surfing will be in the Olympics. Fantastic stuff.
You know, look at it at Ian Gouveia, his season so far, only putting in one event on the QS, finished at equal 73rd. And other than that, has been focusing directly on the championship tour, where he's had 2 13ths and a 25th.
Well, Pete, he's only found 2 heat wins, and as I mentioned, the one was at North Point in that round 1 encounter with Conor O'Leary and Owen Wright. He was then disposed in round 3 at Margaret River by Owen again. Fell to Medina in round 3 on the Gold Coast. And Pete stumbled to Kaio Belli, who would go on to make the finals at Bells.
It was interesting, though, in that first event, we watched him surf that first round heat, and Ronnie and I were calling it. Ian looked starstruck. He did not look like he was, and we were like kind of thinking, wow, you get to see all these surfers for their first time, and Ian was one of those surfers I was kind of like, whoa, I don't know how long he's going to stay here. And then the next heat, he had a heat win, and he looked sharp and looked on point. It was a complete turnaround, which was nice to see.
Well, let's see what Ian Gouveia has for us. You can already see telegraphing, looking for a launch pad. Clock's moving down to 30 seconds. This could be a tough end here for Ian Gouveia in the draw in Rio de Janeiro. See if he can reposition here. I'm afraid it's this swell moving into the lineup right now or nothing for Ian Gouveia is the story.
Well, you see what he's looking to do.
Well, here we go. He has an opportunity. He stayed on the inshore section of the lineup. Gouveia telegraphing this. Big rotation. And he'll get atomized at the bottom of that backwash section. And that is going to be the story as D'Souza locks and loads here with another big open face rip on the wave face for him. And that is going to be how the story unfolds here, Pete. We're going to take a break. Of course, we are continuing with round 3 here this afternoon. It is a victory for Adriana D'Souza. Stay with us. Sebastian Zietz taking on Weekly Dun Test next. Good afternoon from a subtropical Rio de Janeiro, the outer outskirts. We're in Saquarema for stop 4 on the World Surf League's Championship Tour. Sebastian Zietz now takes on Wesley Dantes in the round 3 Heat 2's matchup. King Celia's here alongside Peter Mel, having a great day with it here with the world's best, visiting for the 4th stop on the schedule. And while we were away, action already in this round 3 heat.
Well, and you hear the beach erupt as he blows the fins out the back, straight back into another turn, and just sending spray to the full moon. So you can see business. You know, he's turned around his year last year, finishing 21st, so just qualification, and then also not going to be left out, Sebastian Zietz. As you see, beautiful section here. He goes up, gets the slob grab, and can't ride out.
Wow. Turbo boost there from Sebastian Zietz to show his intent in this heat. Wind is a little sea breeze, semi-left to right across screen, so watch for more from that from Sebastian Zietz. Good job, though, for Adriano de Souza into these wave faces, and he hacked them for a win over Ian Gervais down there with Strider.
Thank you, Giggs. Adriano, I can't look past the fact that you seem to be the people's champ here.
Yeah, it feels good to be in Brazil. You know, this is my home. So happy to travel all over the world and respect all the countries. And then now I am in my country, you know, and then the whole people here cheering for the all Brazilians. And I'm so appreciated that, you know, and every Brazilian's in the water, everyone cheering so hard. So it's only one event we have on the all year, you know, and this is a prestigious event. This is prestigious time for us sponsors and family and friends to watching close, and special to be close to the all icons of surfing, you know, like John, Kelly, Joe, Mick, and then other ones as well. So yeah, that's only the time, you know. So I'm really happy to be here, doing well, especially, and I have so much respect for Ian. You know, he's coming from DNA from Fabio, and Fabio was one of the pioneers of surfing in Brazil, and definitely he has something under his blood, you know. So I'm happy to be on top of him, and yeah, keep it forward.
You know, he kept it close in the heat. You guys were swinging around the 6-7 range, and then you had the wave where you got to open up and you scored into the excellent range.
Yeah, pretty much that wave putting me like on a far lead, you know, and then he need a really good wave, and it's so hard to find a good wave out there, especially with the current and bumps and everything. So make you even like stress out there, you know. So I feel losing all the time, and I'm happy to moving forward.
I want to ask you about the Olympics and surfing in the Olympics. It's going to be a heated competition to see who's going to wear that hat for Brazil.
Oh yeah, to be honest, I'll be really proud if I'll be on the Olympics. If not, I'll be on the beach cheering for my friends. So that's what will be happen for sure in 2020, I hope.
All class, Adriano. Congratulations. We'll see you on through.
For sure. Cheers, guys.
Thanks so much. And what's clear in that interview, as Strider says there, Pete, just all class.
Absolutely. You know, he's been waving that flag. You know, he's one of the guys, as we watch the replay here, that, you know, the stereotypical, you know, Brazilian, he's had to kind of work through that, you know, and he's done it in a way that he can go anywhere in the world with utmost respect and receive the utmost respect. So good on you, Adriano.
I think if there was any preconceivedness about the Brazilian nation, Adriano single-handedly has gone and changed that viewpoint.
And I think he worked to do that.
Absolutely.
You know, and
respectfully.
Yeah.
And humbly. Well, Pete, look at these numbers. The panel, only one judge saying no. The rest, everyone agreeing. A 9-point ride. Big backhand smashes for Wesley Dantes, and that's bad news for Sebastian Zietz right there.
But I mean, you saw the wave. Take a look at it again, I'm sure. And he went square, straight up. Again, throwing spray to the skies. That's the surfing that we saw him do in his rookie year, finishing 15th. And then last year, he kind of lost a little bit. It was, I don't know what was going on. Maybe he was searching for different equipment, but he's definitely found his equipment that he wants. You take a look here. Again, this wave stood up for him too. Right off the bottom, hooking it under the lip, but then this one tagging it hard. That connection with the lip, getting the fins up and over. 2-turn combo, just blasted that thing.
Well, Wiggly with his chainsaw ripping into the walls here and sends them flying for a 9-point ride. So setting the pace now for Sebastian Zietz to follow. Already, as you mentioned, Pete, backing it up with a 6.83, so way out front here in this encounter. Still plenty of time, 22 minutes to go. Talking about Wiggly and his results there. 15th, as you mentioned, in that rookie year, Pete. Coming here, ranked 23rd. He'll take a big jump. Care of a 9th place finish at Bells, and, well, doesn't his surfing just suit Bells Beach as well, right?
It does. That's his backhand. That's one of his strengths. But he's also an amazing tube rider because he spends a lot of time in Hawaii. You know, he pretty much puts that as his second home after, you know, the season starts in Hawaii. He'll pretty much base himself out of that North Shore. And so he loves pipeline, puts his time in every swell. So again, as a barrel rider on his forehand, you would think those strengths would be Tahiti. Also look at the Fiji event, pipeline. Those are all big strengths of his, plus all the right-handers that are on tour as well. So, I mean, he's a threat. And as soon as he truly figures it out, you would think that he could be even a title contender.
Well, Sebastian Zietz with his own set of strengths when you start thinking about his results in those same locations. Of course, Sebastian Zietz, a Triple Crown winner back in 2012. What a great story. So this is a great matchup on paper.
It is. You look at the two surfers in the water. Who has the CT victory? Sebastian Zietz does.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm trying to point out that this kid has been able to win on the. You know, there's guys that'll go whole careers that won't necessarily win on the championship tour. So he's been able to do that. He also won the Triple Crown, which was a huge feat. That was the year that the legendary walk up the beach. Actually, it wasn't a walk. The stand up the beach. He carried up on a surfboard.
Well, here's a man that's amassed a pile of championship tour wins and the big prize, a world title back in 2014. In heat preparation, he'll be taking on Bede Durbridge, so don't go anywhere. That's coming at us in 20 minutes' time.
I like the muscle T look. That's that one, bringing that one back.
Let's see what Sebastian Zietz has inside right-hander. Nice little jam. And, well, goes weightless on us. Incomplete. So Seabass has got to find numbers now against Wiggly. And he'll also be getting ragdolled right about there. Lots of power in the ocean.
That's the current pulling him out towards the wave, too, so you don't get moved out of the zone. You know, with that rip pulling up the face, you're just going to get sucked right back into the wave rather than getting blown toward shore. But it felt like he almost gave up on that last move. I mean, it was like he just wasn't connected. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Broken leash.
Well, let's keep a close eye on it. Yep, there's the board. Board's intact, Pete, so that's good news.
Oh, he was almost there. Look at it, just gliding all the way in.
Don't you hate that?
I do.
We've all done that, right?
Yeah, for sure. You're like, oh, it's right there. Oh.
Yeah. Fingertips.
Well, you wonder if he's going to actually try and grab a new leash or if he's just going to ride it without.
Well, let's see. It might have just been the tail. Yep. No, he got such a pounding there. That's why I mentioned the power of the ocean, right? And you mentioned that current just taking him back into the cauldron there. So maybe just a leash change here, but definitely some equipment being attended to for Sebastian Zietz. Plenty of time, 18 and a half to go.
Ryan Miller running down the beach, helping out Seabass. Usually Tom Whitaker's here, but not this event. So it looks like he's just going to do a leash change out.
So he wants to trust that equipment under his feet. Sebastian, of course, comes here to this fourth stop of the World Surf League's Championship Tour. Look at him laughing, Pete. He's not taking it that seriously.
No. Quick change. Easy enough. Nice haircuts, guys. Went to the same barber.
Well, Sebastian Zietz comes here 10th on the Jeep leaderboard. Let's have a look at a man that's just continuing with the momentum, Wiggly. massive yards covered in the bottom turn. And he holds on to that. And it is soccer stadium atmosphere here in Brazil.
They say it's the spot. It's like that, and this is why. See, Wiggly, I mean, if you look at what he scored on his wave number 2 and 9, those were just as lethal backhand snaps. I mean, you'd feel like it's going to be right there at that same kind of level of score.
Wow.
Seabass would have had to watch that.
He would have had to hear that as well.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it. This way builds up. First turn perfectly right in the apex. And then this one off the bottom, long extended bottom turn, and this connection with the lip. Free falls down, pulls it off. Very critical stuff there for Wiggly. Wiggly looking on point. So this 9th place that he had at Bells, he's carrying that momentum right here into the Oi Rio Pro. I mean, he would be carrying a ton of confidence, knowing that he's won here at this venue.
Yep, pulling out the history books, Pete.
Yeah, the QS 10,000. That was the one event that I came to witness, and he took the win.
Yep, the Quicksilver Sakurayama Prime back in the day. Of course, now we call those QS 10,000s. D'Souza got a 3rd in that, by the way, as we peel back the history books. Jadson Andre a 5th. And this was a topic of discussion before we kicked off this here stop on tour, is being a beach break, the qualifying series guys, the newer faces on the championship tour, would they have a little edge possibly? You know, certainly Brazilians will have done a lot of their cementing of their careers at this location. And it's starting to pay out here for Wiggly Dantes.
You're looking at Wiggly's posse.
Well,
he's on camera.
Well, the number's going to come in. It's a 9.27. Add that to the 9. The crowd hears it.
A solid 2-wave total. One of the highest of the event so far. Wiggly on point.
Very much so.
There's still a ton of time, so let's see if Seabass can mount a comeback. Be exciting if he could.
Check out that ticker tape for round 3 matchups. Lots of names in
How's
the
that
draw.
Last heat? You talk about Nat Young up against Owen Wright.
How did I know you'd mention that, Pete?
Oh, just because guys from my hometown.
Because it's both 2 goofy footers, right? And we're watching Wiggly go on the goofy stance here.
But they're both, they're both surfing really well. And Owen's having a great season, and he is not going to want to lose against Nat Young for sure. So that's going to be a great matchup.
Exciting stuff here. Wiggly Dantes is setting the pace here with excellent scores here this afternoon in Brazil. Stay with us. We'll take a quick break. Can Sebastian Zietz unlock this formula?
Played 1990, 1995. Those are big years for Bart Lynch.
And sure are. Great to have him on the commentary team. As we see Sebastian Zietz locked in so deep.
Oh, he's still there. He's still there.
Still going.
Oh, wow. My God.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Pete Mel's got 10.
Sorry. I am sorry, folks at home.
And 2 thumbs up. Sebastian's got 8 fingers and 3 thumbs up.
Look at it.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
It's in already.
Oh, no. Well, come on.
No deliberation.
Oh, well, come on.
Oh, we love it. A little look back to our second stop on tour, round 1. Pete Mel doing somersaults.
I can't believe you were screaming like that, Giggs.
Pete Mel doing somersaults while he was on the bench with Ronnie Blakey there. Great stuff. What a great Australian leg. And, well, Sebastian Zietz, though, different story here in Brazil.
Right now.
Could you scream again for Sebastian? Maybe something would happen.
He needs to do something special. Maybe it'll come out. That was pure just... It's not like I tried to do that one. I don't practice that.
Nah, that was the true surfer in you, Pete. We love it. The audience globally can relate,
man.
right?
It's hard to listen
Everybody just flips out. And while we were away, let's have a look at what came to the table. Sebastian Zietz and Wiggly Dantes in action.
Well, again, looks like a very confident Wiggly Dantes. He's not able to do anything wrong here. Such great technique on that backhand snap. Look at, again, connections. Not going to even probably go into that 9-point range, but looking on point as we see now. Seabass, good looking wave here. Beautiful first turn. Combos it with a second. So there we go. This could get him in there. Could get him out of combo. You know, it's got to be, you know, over an 8.27 in order to do that. And score's already in.
Waiting for a number.
Well, it's in, I think. That's 783, right? The 783?
Yep. So that's what comes in, Pete. So what are you thinking? Still combo land, though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he has to be over, you know, over the 8.23 to get out of that situation where then he'll need basically another wave of a perfect 10.
It's almost like Wiggly Dante's got a magnet strapped to his shoulder blades here, kind of moving around the lineup, and wherever he is, the waves are. I think maybe Seabass could go and follow him a touch here.
You know, when you're in rhythm and you feel it like that, which is what you can tell Wiggly has got right now, it feels amazing. You know, it's like, you talk about it's like in rhythm or in the zone or all of those things, and it's that connection with stuff that you cannot control just happen to feel like they're in control. You know, the best athletes in the world, they, you know, when they find that spot, you know,
that groove. Whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. It's just, it's like no other. It's one of the greatest things to feel. And you can feel it from just even as a teenager, you know, doing Little League or any of the sports you're doing. Sometimes it happens then.
Magic moments required now for Sebastian Zietz. Of course, lots of magic unfolding for Wiggly Dantes here in the seat.
Well, I guess that somebody's walking on the beach.
Think of this time last year, Pete, Gabriel Medina with the full rotation loop for a 10-point ride, setting the pace again in the sport in the modern era.
The gainer with a surfboard.
Ever popular Gabriel Medina coming up next. Of course, Gabriel still finishing third last year. Of course, all the thunder and flash going to John Florence in 2016. But Gabriel Medina was right there for most of the way through the year.
You would think that, I mean, Gabriel would be, you know, if you look at their similar age and knowing some of the heats they've had together, or go back to the 2-riding event they had, the matchups in Tahiti. Just amazing, those two, and how they push the level of the sport.
Big heat coming up next. Beat Durbridge, back from injury, a layoff in 2016. Sees him alongside Owen Wright back in the jerseys for the year. And loving competition, a fit and lean and mean Beat Durbridge in 2017 as well. Just having a quick look at previous winners. Gabriel Medina's name is not on a championship tour win in Brazil just yet, Pete. So
well, he's won QS's.
Yep.
You know, over his years. So he has won on home soil. But yeah, you're right. The championship tour has eluded him. But I think he'll have at least 10 more goes before his career's over.
Well, of course, Gabriel, now in his early 20s, winning that world title back in 2014 at a tender 20 years of age. Only Kelly beating him by calendar days to be the youngest world champion of the sport. Gabriel the second to youngest and the first winner from this country. Let's see what Sebastian Zietz has for us. It'll always be entertaining with Seabass. Little medium-sized slopey right-hander running into the rip. Wraps the second turn. Watch for the launch. Oh, the Brazilians love that too. We love it.
How sick was that section? That thing was just a ramp.
Just compressing.
And you can see the backwash. He was able to almost timed it perfectly with the backwash and just lifted him, shot him to the moon. Would have been a difficult landing no matter what, but let's get some more of those ramps, especially with Medina coming up next.
7.5 minutes to go in the seat. Gabriel Medina takes on B. Durbridge. Stay with us if you're loving the show. We've got plenty still to go here this afternoon. Local time around 3:30 right now. It is the autumn. But we are kind of close to the equator, so still a few hours of sunlight left for us.
Interesting note right there. Usually Gabriel likes to have that moment where he'll sit and kind of quiet. He didn't get that because the crowd was just too much.
He couldn't get that.
No, it's now he's going to have to try and get it in the water. So a little effect in his pattern. See if that'll change anything for him.
Well, Pete, two surfers out in the lineup. Wiggly Dantes dominating this round 3 matchup. Wiggly comes here 23rd on the Jeep leaderboard. Sebastian Zietz sitting at 10th. They both finished equal 9th, falling out in round 5 in Bells Beach. Sebastian Zietz fell to Frederico Moraes, and Wiggly fell to D'Souza as we go through the heat recap here.
This was the first 9 two-turn combo, earning 9 points, and if you can get 2 high-quality turns, judges will give it to you. Again, just the connection with the lip, both times, squaring it up. That is big maneuvers from Wiggly Dantes. That's the kind of confidence he has been able to carry these last 2 events. Seabass giving it a go, though. He had the 783. Beautiful speedy arc to float combo, and even gets 1 more maneuver here at the end. That wasn't enough to actually get him out of the combination situation, which means he needs 2 new waves in order to match the scores of Wiggly.
Well, one of those heats, as we mentioned, Pete, where nothing can go wrong. So Wiggly Dantes just needs to steer this now.
I mean, look at Bede. There's no one chasing him down the beach, so he gets his moment.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
There is always that reverse theory, right? There's all the pressure of being at home can sometimes
it for sure
can weigh on you.
It for sure, you know, and I mean, especially in a place like this where it's not really local knowledge is going to give you a, you know, I don't think he's staying here in Saquarema, so he's not sleeping at home. So it's not like truly his home break.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's, you know, he's still traveling, but he's obviously in his home country, so he's going to have, I mean, he probably can't go to dinner without just being completely engulfed. So he's most likely eating at home, which is good. Probably has his family with him that's doing that. But, you know, you roam the streets, and you're as popular as he is here. It affects you energy-wise. I'm sure he's gotten used to it. You know, it's been a couple years since this world title, but it'll affect you for sure.
We're speaking about Medina. Even bumped down at that last stop. 13th at the Billabong Pipe Masters at the end of the year. It was a throwaway result, but he did drop down a position and let Jordy Smith climb up 1 for a final year standings on the Jeep leaderboard. Of course, John smashed everybody long before people got to Hawaii. John had been crowned, but Jordy Smith did manage to climb 1 ahead of Gabriel Medina. Still Medina, though, at 3rd in 2016. Very admirable result. Gabriel Medina 3rd in 2015 as well. We saw Medina come onto the stage back in 2011 and took 2 championship tour wins in half a year as a rookie.
He's one of those guys that you put him in any event, he can win it. From Pipeline to Fiji to Chopes to Snapper Rocks, anywhere on tour, he could take a win.
The beach is maxing here. It's a Friday afternoon in Brazil, and it's as carnival festival atmosphere as we can create anywhere on the championship tour stops.
Look at Wiggly. He is still not, he's like, I'm not going to give Sebastian an inch.
Not even going to give him a chance to unlock.
Yeah. He's gonna sit there and hold that position. He is not going to give, I mean, that's smart. You do not ever want to give anybody an extra chance. The guys are just too good.
Well, Wigley has not won a round 1 encounter yet this year. Fell in round 2 to Miguel Pupo on the Gold Coast. Fell to Connor O'Leary at Margaret River. And then a much better run. Round 2 wins over Kanoa Igarashi. Round 3 disposed of Matt Wilkinson in a very tight matchup at Bells. 13.73, played 13. So it was a tight round 3 encounter for Wigley Dantes, taking out Matty Wilco. Didn't win a round 4 encounter either, and finally tumbled to D'Souza in round 5 for his best result, a 9th. But right now he's in fine form here. Massive. Look at the work rate as well. Sebastian's had to work hard. 8 waves in total for your athlete in red. One of them is 7.83.
You saw in that drone shot, he went for that wave, but he went down. So it looks like he is conceding to Wigley. He did have to struggle in this heat. He broke his cord, had a couple wipeouts, and had an on-fire Wigley Dantes.
Yeah, it's just a case of extremes, right? With one heat just doesn't go the one athlete's way at all. It's not even like a good effort from them. And then Wigley just opposite end of the spectrum, just magic touch. And those heats happen, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to ask Seabass to go back out there and get himself another 7 just to help out my fantasy team.
Oh, that's interesting.
I need those points, man.
So Wigley's
friendly fire.
Wigley's found the 3rd single highest wave of the event thus far, that 9.27. They've had 6 head-to-head matchups. Inside of the last minute now. And it's a good set of numbers for Wigley Dantes to go into round 4 with.
Heck yeah.
Because that's where he's going. Of course, you cannot fall out of round 4 as well. So the worst Wigley Dantes can do now is a round 5 exit at worst.
And again, if you're looking at requalification, which I think would be at the high priority list for Wigley, is those 9th places are so key.
Wigley Dantes in motion. Hasn't got higher than a quarterfinal finish. He's quarterfinal 3 times in his career. But he's going to take a convincing round 3 Heat 2 win here over Sebastian. And the vocal Brazilians are lapping this up. And so they should, because that was a solid heat. Sebastian Zietz will be bowing out here, packing his bags and heading for Fiji. Stay with us. We'll continue with round 3. We're bringing in Kaipo Guerrero and Martin Potter for the call. Gabriel Medina will be in the water.
here at the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona, here in beautiful Saquarema. And we're into round 3, heat number 3, Gabriel Medina versus Bede Durbridge. Kuiper Girl along with 89 world champ Martin Potter for the call. And what an outstanding heat we have here. We've talked about it before. The expectation of Gabe Medina. We've talked about the regular foot versus goofy foot battles. So much happening in this heat number 3.
Oh, absolutely right. I mean, you just look at what's been going down here over these last couple of heats as Medina goes to the roof.
You can hear the crowd roar as Medina attacks the lip here with 2 vertical backhand re-entries and keeps the board flowing all the way to the finish. The body language tells me that Gabe Medina is extremely motivated with his home country crowd. Right behind him, Bede Durbridge opens up with a full rail carve. And the second for Durbridge. Wave starts to taper, and he's going to keep the rails loose, looking for more, looking for a big finish. Banks it there, and this wave's going to give him a little bit more opportunity before he kicks out. Bede Durbridge on the answer back.
And a good answer back at that, Kaipo. Medina obviously a bit more vertical on his attack. But Bede Durbridge, no slouch. A couple of great maneuvers there as well. Bede started off with a 5.33.
Here it is.
And this is wave number 2, first turn. Beautiful, clean, carving maneuver. I love the smoothness, the flow between the turns. Back-to-back turns right there. Combination of major maneuvers. So that is going to be Bede's best wave. And that little bonus section through the inside. So that wave just kept giving for Bede Durbridge. He's going to need it though. He's not only surfing against Medina, he's got the rest of Brazil on Medina's side. And this was Medina's opening maneuver. We talk about the little difference in approach there. So Medina a little bit more vertical on his attack. Bede nice and clean though between his maneuvers. And Gabriel Medina, the crowd absolutely went ballistic when Medina finished off that wave. And this is Bede's first wave of a 5.33. Nice drawn out bottom turn, just holding that rail in the water. Bede's surfing good. I mean, he's feeling Brazil. He's feeding off the energy from the crowd. He's back on tour where he wants to be. And I'll tell you what, he's surfing incredibly well.
Bede Durbridge, he has had success in this event. A runner-up finish in 2015 behind Felipe Toledo. Here we got the stats. Age 34 from North Stradbroke Island. Currently tied on the championship tour on 24th on the Jeep leaderboard. Bede's going to want to do better than that, coming off of a couple of 13ths on the Australian leg and a second round defeat in the first stop at Snapper Rocks. We're going to wait for some scores to populate, and then we can give you an update on the situation in the water. Durbridge just taking a look at that one, Potts.
Yeah, Bede just trying to keep the ball rolling. Obviously, Gabriel Medina with priority, so Bede Durbridge's job really is to try and find something special underneath that priority. Gabriel Medina having a look at that. More sets coming through out the back. Tide is getting high here this afternoon. The beach is absolutely packed. And with that tide coming in, it's kind of compressing the crowd. So it is an unbelievable afternoon here.
Here we go, Medina. Gabby just takes a look at it, sees the positioning, kicks out, and wants to control the lineup.
It's got to be one of the best crowds in the world. I think, Gabriel Medina just took off on the wave and the crowd started lighting up. Talk about standing room only. It is absolutely bumper to bumper here with people. And a sign of things to come. It's not even the weekend yet.
It's Friday afternoon here in Saquarema. And we have a frothing beach crowd. We have Andre down with the last heat winner, an outstanding goofy foot in Wiggly Dantes.
Thanks, Kaipo. Yes, I am here with Wiggly. He went banana on his 2 waves over 9 points, a 9 point and a 9.27. That was crazy. Must feel really good, right?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Already in prime here, so I have a good confidence. And my board's working pretty good. And when the waves, I see the tide is going to be like so high, so I think the waves is going to be better. When I come back, I went home and just eat a little bit, come back, I look at the waves, I just like, whoa, it's pumping. And I just feeling good. I just got just tried to make big turns. I just got 2 good waves, and I have a good confidence here. I'm just happy to make my heat and just let's go to the next round.
You got your whole family over here, your mother, brother, sister, and the Brazilian crowd. That was incredible too, right? A lot of good energy.
Yeah, for sure. I have my whole family. Only my dad stay home, and all the crowd is like amazing. When you get a wave, everyone's cheering for you, and when you get out the water, it's like everyone's like just talking, want to take photos. Just that's amazing. That's helped a lot. Sometimes you get a good wave, you just like the crowd just going big. I just okay, that's a good one.
You won here before. You beat Kiana Singh on the QS Prime. You must feel like really comfortable to surf in this wave.
Yeah, for sure. When I know the contest is gonna move to here, I just feel so happy because I know this wave I can surf good. This wave is like my surf is like getting better when I surf here because it's power wave and I can push hard. So when I know it's gonna be here, I'm just happy and just come here, just train and feel good. Saquarema is an amazing place.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Back to you, boys.
Love it, Andre. And, well, he's electric in the water, but I like the calmness of Wiggly Dantes on land. And that's, to me, that's a signal of big things to come in this year's competition.
What did Johnny Boy say? Talk is cheap, let your surfing do the talking.
So
and that's
does.
exactly what Wiggly Dantes did right there. Just absolutely lit it up. 9.27, 9.0, one of the highest 2-wave totals of the day. And he is on through to round number 4. So Gabriel Medina, 7.5 and a 0.43. beat Durbridge, a 7.53. Answers right back. So this heat is on, let me tell you. Beat is not going to give up.
Medina takes off, draws that bottom turn, snaps off the top. A little bit of a caught rail on the way down, but answers back on that second turn. Lip glide float, lands on the heels, goes into the layback position, and incomplete. So the plot thickens here as we look at Beat Durbridge out the back. These surfers have met 6 times in head-to-head matchup. Durbridge and Medina. We're going to get back to that and talk us through this, Potts.
Yeah, well, Gabriel Medina using his priority. Beat Durbridge, sold him on this wave, catching the nose there, but managing to pull it out. And again, radical snap, almost lost it again. So Medina surfing on the edge and just goes down at the end there. So there was a lot of little glitches through that wave, which kind of all added up at the end. And Medina, you can see what he's up to, though. He is absolutely put the pedal to the metal. There is no pulling back. This crowd has got him fired up. See, just a little bit of a catch right there. And again, you can see him just losing his balance a little bit. And then that last turn, just getting a lot of air under his board. That body just got a little bit contorted, a little bit out of shape, and unfortunately goes down. So Gabriel Medina just letting it all hang out, making it quite clear there's no holding back in this heat. Why? Because Beat Durbridge has just dropped the highest single score of a 7.53, and he is in the lead at the moment.
Potts, we see a little bit of that warble and some of this unevenness in the wave. What's causing that out here right now?
Well, you got the backwash. I mean, you look at the beach, it's quite a steep beach. So with that high tide, you've got the waves washing up, and it basically refracts on the way back out. So you've got this backwash that gives it that real lump and bump. But I'll tell you what, it makes for exciting surfing too.
Like that.
Like that.
Unfortunately, incomplete for Medina. Taken to the skies.
Yeah, Medina's got to be careful because Beat is going to be that stock standard, just hard-working guy. He's going to back up that 7.53. Let's have a look at Medina here on the way back out. Finds this little gem, races down the line, widens the stance, and just flies through the air. Almost pulls that one off, so great rotation, but just didn't quite land far enough out of the white water, gets swallowed up. So Gabriel Medina making it quite clear he's going to go for broke. 6.60 on the wave before, which puts him in the lead. Beat Durbridge needing a 6.57. So Beat's going to play the patient game. He's going to look for a certain type of wave. Kind of like what he got that 7.53 on. Just a wave that opens up, lets him do those few nice big turns, and finishes off clean. Beat is the guy that's going to... He's the kind of competitor that makes you work for your win. He's not going to hand it to you. He's not going to make too many mistakes.
Beat being patient out there, the crowd on the beach. You can see shoulder to shoulder here Friday afternoon in Itaúna, and vocal enthusiastic crowd it is. We're talking a bit about these two surfers and their history of head-to-head matchups. 6 times they've come together in competition. It's been all 6 for Medina, so Bede, I'm sure, is going to want to break that streak.
Have a look at the fantasy too for Gabriel Medina. 91%.
91% of you put him on your fantasy surfing. And let's take a look at some of the performances from Gabe Medina in 2016, last year.
Yeah, down the road at Barra in Rio de Janeiro. A little bit of a different wave, but still that punchy beach break situation. And Medina just flies through the air. Double grab, a little bit of a side flip rotation. You can see how he kind of tweaks it out just a little bit. Lands perfectly and basically puts the hands out saying, what do I have to do? The judges said, well, not much more you can do on that wave, so we're going to give you a 10.
Historic move, 2016 Oi Rio Pro. First time ever in competition we've seen a backflip, and Gabe Medina was the magician that brought us that act.
Yeah, it was kind of a sort of a tweaked out backflip, wasn't it, Kaipo? Wasn't necessarily that straight sort of backflip. Had a little bit of tweak on it, which made it really, incredible to watch. But to do that in a heat situation, I mean, that's what this kid's capable of doing.
Well, we talked about the 91% for Gabriel Medina on fantasy surfing. Only 10% have faith in Bede Durbridge, but we'll see if Bede can come back right now. He's currently in second, needing a 6.57, and we'll be back with that answer right after this commercial break. Stick around for more of the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona.
If you feel positive every time that you go in the heat, I think will happen what you want, Like, you just need to believe.
Sticks the landing. Clean, as always, with Medina. Another section for Medina. Traveling spin, and game's out.
They live and die for moments like this, to be the best in the world.
Are you kidding me?
This is the life I was dreaming for. I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to live a life like this.
As he might just get chaired up all the way back to Brazil. He's heading back door. Super deep takeoff with his positioning. And he looks to make it out.
You have a dream. Now I reach it, my dream. And I'm not dreaming anymore. The best day in my life, I just reached my goal.
Wow, 2014 World Champ Gabe Medina, and he's out in the lead ahead of Bede Durbridge. Gabe really set off that Brazilian storm, and the following year, another Brazilian won in 2015, Adriano de Souza, so that was historic.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that comment that he made. He goes, I've reached my dream. I'm not dreaming anymore. It's reality, and it's just an amazing feeling, really, to watch Gabriel Medina do that on the beach at Pipeline. But while we're at that break, this is what went down. Gabriel Medina staying busy, and he goes to the air, bit of a backside rotation, lands it, and comes out. The crowd absolutely lit up. We could hear that once we're at the break. We knew Gabriel Medina had done something, so the crowd absolutely loving the action here this afternoon, and Gabriel Medina responding all the way through the inside and almost beaches it with a massive backside rotation. So Gabriel Medina starting to find his feet. A little bit of a messy landing, but pulled it off nicely. And that score coming through right now, Kaipo, it's not huge. I think due to the fact that it was kind of didn't stick it nice and clean, but then managed to bring it all the way through the inside. Watch this end maneuver here from Gabriel Medina. Right on the sand. It just flies through the air. Is there anything this kid can't do? But still keeps B. Durbridge right in the mix.
Yep, score coming in. It's a 6.8 for Gabe Medina. Wow, what was he thinking on that closing maneuver? He was just going to land straight on the beach for a completion?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Well,
I think had he done that, had he landed that on the beach, it would have been bigger than a 6.80. But if you look back at that, I mean, it was a nice air rotation, but when he landed, a little bit of a stumble. The judges want to see you come sort of flying out of those turns, especially when your name is Gabriel Medina.
Here we go, B. Durbridge looking for a 6.77, and wave selection not working in Durbo's favor as he just gave up priority, and that was nowhere near what he needed to do.
No, which is kind of uncharacteristic really for B. Durbridge. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He really makes you work for your win. So at this point in the time, still 11.5 minutes remaining. Bede's still looking for a 6.77. So that door is slightly open. Bede still with the single highest score of a 7.53. And Medina needing to replace a 6.8 just to push that requirement a little bit further out. So Medina understanding that. He's got priority at the moment. He's got the lead. So things going his way.
Well, we have Carlos Burley in the scene. And Carlos, you there?
Yes, I am. How are you guys?
We're so good, Carlos. We'd like to talk a little bit about Gabe Medina and what a big deal it was to bring the world title to Brazil in 2014.
I tell you what, Medina conquered his dream and also the dream of so many of us. Not only the surf crew, not only this crowd that is on the beach today, but the whole nation. Everybody loves Medina. He's a big idol. He's a star here. And it's beautiful to see how he can move the crowd around, how he can get people to scream his name. It's amazing, it's lovely.
Carlos, I mean, there's been a lot of successful Brazilian surfers on tour, and there's a lot more guys coming up. Do you think Medina's world title has given the kids of Brazil a lot of hope?
Oh, yes, for sure. By just seeing someone else conquer a big thing in their life, it make you motivated to do it. Same thing happened to me when I was the world champion in 98 at Todos Santos. My winning was far beyond what happened in the water. The whole nation just had the sensation that they could achieve the same thing, and then Medina came and you see the whole new generation just aiming the same goal. That's why we got so much surfers coming from Brazil right now.
Thank you, Carlos. Carlos Burley, one who inspired a nation with his win, with his big wave championship. Gabe Medina inspired a nation with his 2014 World Championship. And B. Durbridge now needs to really get busy. Little slice to start off, but that's all that wave is going to offer for Durbo. Medina's going to continue with the lead, 9 minutes and 15 seconds counting down.
Yeah, Gabriel's just got to try and maintain position in the lineup. He obviously doesn't need another wave, but 6.80 is his second highest score. Bede only needing a 6.77. So, in a sense, he was, if a good one comes, he's going to have to try and better that situation. Bede's job right now is to try and find something underneath the priority of Gabriel Medina. Maybe try and coax him into a wave using that priority and then giving Bede control over the lineup. But still plenty of time remaining, so I'm sure Medina's not playing that defense at the moment. I'm sure he's still trying to better his situation with that weak link being the 6.80.
Well, one thing we know about Medina, a couple things we know about Medina Paz is, one, he's a competitive animal. Two, we know he's a performer. He loves to perform for the crowd. So I'm expecting something, given the opportunity. Gabe's already got the lead, something pretty amazing. I'm feeling it in the air right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he feeds off the crowd for sure. There's a certain energy at the moment, and Medina's one of those guys that believes he can do pretty much anything. Once that confidence level goes up, once he's got his 2 good waves under his belt, he starts lighting it up, and we started to see that on that last wave. I mean, had he finished that last big air reverse. I mean, that was going to be an excellent score, but due to the wipeout, well, it's stayed at that 6.80 and keeps Bede in the mix. So Bede's got to keep his head in the game, though. You know, it's not over yet. He's still in with a shot, just needing a 6.77, which is a mediocre wave.
And remember, you can enjoy the best of surfing live. Download the WSL app to your mobile device. You can take it with you, watch live streams, play fantasy surfing right from your mobile device, as well as get all of the engaging content that constantly comes through the site. We got, you know what? I'm always wondering, Potts, where's Waz? What's Strider Wazalewski up to? Let's find out.
Waz is down on the beach. I had to come down and check it out. I mean, we got the entire crowd down here, and they are loving this situation. You got everything from all different shapes and sizes. They're all excited to be down here. But obviously, when Medina is out here, it's just amazing. I mean, the love for Wiggly, the love for Adriano de Souza, now the love for Medina, it's just second to none. So you come down, you check it out, you understand the vibe. You get chicken skin because the energy that they have, it really kind of just goes right through you, and he can feel it in the water, I'm sure. That's just the next level, and it's like this nowhere else in the world. There's no doubt that this is the most energetic crowd that there is for surfing.
Strider, is there a noticeable difference when Medina paddles out in how loud the crowd get?
I mean, yeah, you heard him, the reaction of the wave that he rode all the way into the shore break. I mean, literally, they would have been just going nuts right there when he landed in the water right on the shore break. So, you know, you can definitely see the volume get turned up. And I mean, it gets turned way up because they love, you know, he's the superstar here as far as, for the youth and everybody else coming in. That said, the people's champ, Adriano de Souza, had some huge cheers, and Wiggly Dantes was getting everybody fired up with a couple of nines. So, you know what? The love's going all the way around.
Thanks a lot, Strider. And we know that Brazil loves Gabe Medina. They like Strider Wazalewski a lot, too, down here. But, you know, look at this big crowd. We're going to get back to that as Bede Durbridge. Nice-looking wave face, pretty steep for that first snap. And another beautiful carve by Durbridge. Working this through all the way. Durbo on his way to the score that he needs. And we'll see if there's anything else a little choppy on the end, but he did all the damage outside. 6.77 was the requirement, Potts, and that was looking pretty good.
Well, it was a smaller inside wave, but with the beach break situation, obviously they're not judging the wave. They're judging the surfing done on the wave, and Bede Durbridge finds a nice clean wave on the inside, opens up with a beautiful rail turn, keeping that board moving, keeping those maneuvers nice and clean. And this is what we talk about with Bede Durbridge. He's not one of those guys that gives up. He's not one of those guys that's going to hand you a win. He's going to make you work for it. And if you make any kind of mistake, he's there to pounce. He's there to make you pay for it. So Bede, keeping his head in the game. He's not only up against Gabriel Medina, but he's up against the entire nation of Brazil. And he is doing his best. 7.53 is his highest score. And he's looking for a 6.77. Let's see if he can silence the crowd with that last wave.
If that score comes through, you will see a silencing of the crowd. We're going to check out a heat recap right now with the wave surfed.
Gabriel Medina came out the blocks firing. Big backside punt through the lip there and gets the board around, up again into the lip. Surfed his way to a 7.5 and, well, we thought he was just going to go from strength to strength and Bede was going to get pushed out, but not to be. Bede Durbridge comes right back at him at the next wave. You can see the kind of waves that Bede's looking at. Those nice, clean, mid-range waves that are just allowing him to tag it time and time again. Dropped a 7.53 on this occasion. Put himself right in the mix. Medina answered back with a beautiful air rotation. Stuck the landing, almost lost it, but managed to right the ship and bring this one through the inside and posted a 6.80. Bede Durbridge searching for a 6.77. Watch this last maneuver here. Talk about not giving up on a wave and finding something special right at the end. Medina almost dry docked this one on the beach. Big air rotation. The crowd were absolutely going crazy for Gabriel Medina. Bede Durbridge just answered back with a 6.33. Not enough. So back out the back and well, with 3 minutes to go, we've still got one more shot.
Yeah, we see the scores. 6 waves ridden by each of the surfers in this heat. That last wave highlighted in green. Those are the two highest scores. The last wave for Beat Durbridge is 6.33, just under the requirement of a 6.77 to take the lead from Medina. So Medina still in the driver's seat, but Beat came dangerously close right there. And just an illustration, though, of, like you said, Beat Durbridge going at it workmanlike.
Oh, yeah.
Logical. And doesn't make mistakes.
Well, he's a smart competitor, and if you can remember when he surfed against Felipe Toledo a couple of years ago at Barra, I mean, there was probably 40, 50,000 people on the beach, and they were all screaming for Felipe Toledo. Beat Durbridge just went about his business. You know, when he took off on a wave, you could hear a pin drop. When Toledo took off on a wave, the crowd absolutely lost it. So he's been in that situation before. The crowd's not going to daunt him at all. And he's just going to go about his job. So 2 minutes remaining. Gabriel Medina's now going to start maybe playing that defense and see if he can eliminate any kind of opportunity Beat has. He's let Beat sneak away here. And guess what? Beat's going to go.
Another clean wave face for Beat. And an awkward first turn, so he kicks out knowing that he wasn't on the way to the score right there with under 2 minutes remaining. And now Medina with priority will be on the hunt for Beat Durbridge to exercise that priority and not give him the opportunity to get that 6.77. You can see him paddling towards Beat in the blue jersey. Of course, Medina with priority can take any wave he wants and basically block Beat Durbridge at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. So Beat's got to try and create a bit of space here, which he's going to do. Just keep rolling the dice, Beat. That's all he can do. I mean, you know, Medina's going to try and eliminate any good opportunity right here. Beat's going to make him commit, and here we go.
Beat forces the hand. Medina paddles for it. Priority era, priority to Beat Durbridge, and an opportunity for the surfer from North Stradbroke Island. And here is the opportunity. Slices through the arc there, and no chance. You actually hear the crowd excited for Medina because they know he just dodged the bullet with that priority era.
100%, 100%. And those are the little bits and pieces that Gabriel's got to work on. You know, just those little tiny mistakes that you know, dodging a bullet right there. I mean, that could have been a good wave that Beat was in position for, and he could have made Medina pay.
So what happened there was Beat paddled for that wave. Well, acted like he was going to paddle for that wave. Forced the hand of Medina, so Medina took off on it, handed over priority to Beat, and gave him that last-minute opportunity. Unfortunate, the clock's ticking down right now. That wave didn't work out for Beat Durbridge, so Medina looks highly likely to move on because he's got priority again. The crowd enjoys it. An impressive crowd, Potts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people have made the trip from Rio de Janeiro, that's for sure. There's a lot of local crew here. There you hear it. Medina dodges a bullet and moves through to the next round. You think they're happy?
They are ecstatic, and you can hear the chants and the claps from the crowd. A lot of them made that journey, like you said, from Rio, over 2 hours away to the small beach town of Saquarema to watch the Oi Rio Pro.
Yeah, absolutely. Support their heroes, and why not? We love the passion that the South Americans bring to the sport of surfing. They wear their heart on their sleeve, and that's why we love it.
Coming up next, another heat. This one featuring Jeremy Flores and Joel Parkinson as we continue the coverage of the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona. And scenes from the beach, the crowd loving their hero, Gabe Medina, spending some time with the shoulder-to-shoulder rabid surf fans here at Saquarema for the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona. Kaipo Guerrero along with Martin Potter. We saw Gabe Medina, he's going to move out of round 3 into round number 4, non-elimination heat. Here we go, round 3 matchup, heat number 4, Joel Parkinson versus Jeremy Flores.
And have a look at that first heat of round number 4. We've got Adriano de Souza, Wiggly Dantes, and Gabriel Medina.
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire right there. 3 Brazilians in that first heat. That is going to be crazy stuff. You think the beach is going to light up tomorrow?
That means every wave ridden in that heat is going to get cheered for,
yeah.
Right?
People are going to lose their voices. That's for sure.
Well, we love the passion here in Brazil. We've been enjoying the waves and the scene here at Saquarema. And here we go, Jeremy Flores, J-Flow, flowing through that first turn, arcing, quick to the lip there, and sets up right behind him. Someone with some extreme flow, Parkinson. Joel Parkinson just stringing together some maneuvers, and Park goes out.
Just a couple of quick waves for the boys. What's going on there? That was an interesting situation. From Joel?
Yeah, well, we see Jeremy Flores getting the jet ski back out, and it looks like Parkinson, perhaps he was just trying to get his board back, and he was stuck there with the tension on the leash.
Yeah. There's a lot of water moving around here, isn't there?
Wow.
Let's have a look at Joel's opening wave. As we talk about flow, he's definitely got serious flow, this guy. Jams it up through the lip there and just missed that last turn. So Joel Parkinson and 3.50, Jeremy Flores, his opening wave. Nice little wrapping maneuver. Kind of almost looked like he wanted a little bit of tube time right there. And then lost interest towards the end of that one. So both guys just working it out here in the early stages of this heat. No one really has put their authority down, and looks like Jeremy Flores with that first priority. Plenty of time remaining, so the boys just feeling it out. They've been hanging around for quite some time today, wondering whether or not they will be in the water, and here we are.
Got to fire it up in the afternoon. Jeremy Flores currently tied for 16th, 29 years old, out of Reunion Island. Had to qualify back for this 2017 tour the hard way on the qualifying series, because he finished 25th on the championship tour, but finished 7th in 2016 on the qualifying series. We're going to get back to that as there's a lull. We'll check in with Strider Wazalewski. He's with the man of the hour, Gabe Medina.
Thank you, Kaipo. Gabriel Medina, you've brought surfing to another level with the fan base.
Yeah, it's good to have the support here in Brazil. That was a hard heat against Bid. It's pretty fun out there when you find a good one, but it's tricky. The current is strong, and you can't tell which wave is a good one. So that was a hard one against him, but I'm stoked to get the win.
Tell me what it was like to finish off your wave in the shore break with that many people around on the beach cheering for you.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think that was the loudest thing I ever seen, you know, to finish the wave with the air. And then when I got up, I just heard everyone screaming, and it's good. Push us, you know, surf our limit. And that's why when we go there, we try to do our best and put the show for them, you know, so they can watch it close and scream and stuff. And that's how the Brazilians are, so it's good.
Adriano de Souza, Wiggly Dantes, yourself, really creating a huge emotion on the beach with everybody. Do you feel like the storm is back?
Yeah, I think so. That was good to see Adriano and Wiggly making through. I was talking to Jadson and Margaret, and he was like, oh, it's gonna be maybe 6-7 Brazilian in the quarters. I was like, whoa, that's a big number. But yeah, we are excited to have the contest here and to compete at home. It's the best, and and to see the Brazilians doing good, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm just stoked to be part of this.
Congratulations on a heat win.
Thanks.
We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
There you go, Gabe Medina, and it's going to be a great matchup in that non-elimination round number 4 coming up. We saw during the interview a couple of incomplete rides by both Jeremy Flores as well as Joel Parkinson.
Yeah, just Jeremy fell victim to that backwash. Unfortunately, he was on his way into a beautiful turn and just sunk the rail. So back to the drawing board for both guys. 4.5 for Joel, backed it up with a 3.5, a 4.43 for Jeremy, and just a 1.5. So just feeling it out at the moment. Both guys still yet to drop a solid score. So at this stage, anyone's game, Kaipo.
That's right. Nothing over a 5 so far in this matchup with 22 minutes on the countdown. Joel Parkinson does have the lead. Jeremy Flores, 3.58, will take the lead from Parkinson. And here goes Flores on the paddle. Whitewater rolling. Wave looking to stand up. Jeremy winds up off the bottom and cuts back and looks pretty disinterested because he saw he had some pretty angry water right in front of him.
Yeah, just kind of just handed Joel that priority, didn't he? So wave selection out here this afternoon, very important. You heard Gabriel talk about there are good ones out there, but very tricky conditions. Obviously with that higher tide, we've got a lot of backwash still. I mean, I don't think there's any difference between the low and the high. They've still got the backwash involved. It's all about timing it. It's all about, you know, sort of maneuvering yourself around it, making sure you turn at the right time. You see Jeremy just that little whitewater roll in, waiting for it, and that wave just sort of wobbled out, had a little bit of a double step in it, and Jeremy deciding to not go any further on that occasion, saving his time and energy. So you've got to get that first turn out the back, that good solid maneuver, if you want to go on your way to a good score. No point trying to milk it all the way through and posting a 3 or a 4, waste of time and energy.
All these surfers know exactly that, and they can out-feel what a score feels like on each and every one of these waves because they've been doing it for so long. Nice carve. Another arc by Parkinson. Little inside section here. What's he got for us? Little ollie and rides out of it. So straight air, no hander. I like it.
Old school. I like it. Now, those airs are difficult to do as well because your body naturally wants to rotate with the way the momentum's going. So to keep that board, it's almost like an extension of a re-entry. It's almost an extension of that top turn. Flores up and riding.
Jeremy going down the line. Cuts back with a whip in the pocket. Another snap for Jeremy. Building some board speed. Watching the warble. Gets a big snap in there. Wants to combo it up. Throws it up in the lip and goes down.
So a few mistakes for Jeremy on his way to a good score. I think it's still going to be a pretty healthy little score for Jeremy Flores. And he makes his way in to get on the jet ski. Get shuttled back out into the lineup, save a bit of time and energy. Waiting for that last score from Joel Parkinson to get locked in as well. Jeremy Flores. I like this first turn, just a nice wrapping turn and then that little whip at the end. A difficult wave to ride, so you've got to really time your maneuvers in amongst that backwash. Jeremy milking this one all the way through the inside and then goes for that last turn, gets a little bit of air under his board and goes down the mine shaft. So unfortunately not finishing that one off. Joel Parkinson, bit of a smaller wave, not as much wall on it, so not a lot of vertical face. Biding his time, milking this one through the inside. Got to time that inside bowl, and which he does. Nice little straight air and comes out standing up. So a nice little wave for Joel. Looks like he's going to back up that 4.50. That 3.50 will be long gone. And Jeremy Flores is going to better his situation as well. Before that last exchange, Jeremy looking for a 3.58. So this heat super close at the moment.
Scores slowly starting to drop. We're waiting on those scores and we can give you an update on the situation in the water. I like that click at the end for Joel Parkinson, that straight ollie. We'll see if the judges like it. Well, they liked it enough for a 5.5. Checks in for Parkinson. Let's see what they had to say about Jeremy Flores' wave. A little bit above it, a 5.57 for Flores, enough to turn the heat. J-Flow out in front now. Parkinson trailing Parkinson needing a 4.51 if he wants to get that lead back.
Yeah, super close at the moment. And, I dare say that these two scores probably won't be there by the end of the heat.
You see the current score line, the two scores with a 10-point total for each surfer. How do we break that tie? Well, we go back to the single highest wave to break those tie situations, and the single highest wave being that 5.57 last of Jeremy Flores. That's how tight it can be.
Yeah. Here we go, Joel up and running.
Joel from high up above with that roundhouse cutback and banks into the whitewater. Another beautiful rail carve and finishes off quick to the lip for Parkinson. So nice combination of maneuvers. We're going to see if that was enough. 4.51 was the requirement. My gut says, yeah. What do you think, Potts?
Yeah, just, beautiful surfing there from Joel. Obviously, no vertical face on that wave up until the end. The first turn is going to be sort of that wrapping, more horizontal style surfing, but nice flow, beautiful wrapping turn. And again, straight into that next maneuver. Very similar to the first one. And then that was the point of difference right there, just up into the lip. So I think he's going to better that 4.50. I think he's going to get the score. And it's going to be that seesaw battle, which we love. Every time we see the exchange, we should see a lead change. So exciting stuff.
Coming up next, getting ready, Mick Fanning is going to be coming up against a guy who was on fire in his round 2 heat, Connor O'Leary. So that is going to be one to stick around for. That's going to be heat number 5 in this round number 3 coming up next.
Yeah, Mick looks pumped up, doesn't he? Last heat of the day. One of the most successful surfers of all time, Mick Fanning. White Lightning, he's got a lot of support out here as well.
Score checks in for last of Joel Parkinson. It's a 6.33, enough to turn the heat. Parko in the lead. Now Jeremy Flores in the blue jersey needing a 6.27. The seesaw battle, like you said, Potts, that is exactly what's happening, and we can look to history on these two surfers in their head-to-head matchups. Jeremy Flores actually with the advantage, 4 wins over Joel Parkinson, 2 wins for Parko over Flores. And we're going to be coming back with the back half of this heat number 4, round number 3. Can Jeremy come back? The seesaw battle continues here at the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona. Beautiful Saquarema, nice beach city here, touted as the surfing capital of Brazil. Competitions all the way back in the 70s, located 100 kilometers east of Rio de Janeiro, and the population right about the 80,000 mark. Joel Parkinson up and riding. He is our heat leader, and he's looking to get rid of a 5.5 that he has in his scoreline. On his way with some multiple maneuvers. Good flow coming through here. Let's see the inside section, and finishes with confidence there. Parko looking good, Potts.
Yeah, Joel's starting to find his feet. Obviously a slow start, and as I expected, these guys are going to eliminate their small scores. They should be increasing their scoreline as they go through. 5.50 is what Joel has to improve on, and I think he's going to do it. And it's all about finding that rhythm with the waves, and Joel wasting no time. Nice vertical turn, that's a bit better from Joel, and straight into the next maneuver. And then finds this little bonus section through the inside. Beautiful floating maneuver with a bit of air under the board, which makes it feel better, makes it look better. The judges are going to like that. Nice vertical surfing. So you look at his 5.50, it was more sort of horizontal turns, Kaipo, that occasion up into the lip. So it's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more risky, but reward will follow. And we're going to see Joel increase his scoreline.
You called it, Potts. Rewarded with a 6.93. Joel Parkinson raises the bar for Jeremy Flores. Flores now needing a 7.69. There's our crowd. They're going to stick around till the sun goes down because we got a whole nother heat after this heat in the water. And what great surf fans.
I think they're going to be camping out tonight to just get that front row seat for tomorrow.
Let's see if we can listen in to Luke Egan, coach of Conor O'Leary.
Cool hand Luke's not going to give away too much, let me tell you. All you got to do is tell Conor to do exactly what he did this morning.
Yeah, but
right?
you know,
couple of nines.
The challenge, I think, is our ever-evolving playing field is much different than this morning when Conor O'Leary just set the ocean on fire.
Looks like the Cronulla beach breaks to me. And I think that's what Luke's telling him. Just go out there and have a bit of fun and just use that backhand attack. That backhand attack was absolutely on point this morning. Just go out there and do exactly what you did this morning. Try and replicate that heat. Start off strong, put the pressure on Mick. And it's going to take big scores to beat Mick out here.
It sure is. Here we go. Flores. And got some patchy water right there. Got a hold of him. And Jeremy goes down. Parko sees that. And he's going to hold his position out in the lineup and continue with his priority at the 11-minute mark.
Jeremy Flores searching for a 7.69 due to that 6.93 from Joel. So Joel Parkinson starting to get better and better as this heat goes through. His last two rides are his keeper scores at the moment. Jeremy's still sitting at the back with a 4.43 and a 5.57. Not what it is going to take to make it through this heat. So he needs to crank it up. Needs to find something special.
Utilizing priority paddling for this wave. Nice looking smooth face. Carves his first turn. Parko off the bottom again and snap with a little bit of a release at the end. Can he get back up in the lip? And yes, finishes it, combos the closing maneuver. Joel's got the flow.
100%. You know, that turn was amazing, wasn't it? Just once Joel gets the rhythm going, once he, starts sort of dusts out the cobwebs and, maybe those little jitters, obviously have been sitting around a long time waiting for their heat. Watch this turn from Joel Parkinson. Not necessarily the first one. The first one, big swooping cutback, but this turn right here, just on the edge, just hammers that foot down and pushes so hard that he gets a little bit of drift out of the board, which has shown the judges a little bit of something different. And I think they're going to like it. I think he's going to better his 6.33. Good turn right there from Joel Parkinson. Showed some commitment, showed some ability there to just control that maneuver. Pushing hard enough to let the fins release, but not pushing too hard to where the board is going to completely spin out. So Joel Parkinson showing some complete control right there.
Judges digesting the action before assigning a number, probably taking another couple looks on the replay screen for them. And we'll see if Joel does extend his lead over Jeremy Flores.
It's definitely better than 6.33. So I reckon he's going to put Jeremy in a daunting situation coming into this last 8 minutes or so.
I reckon you're right, Potts. An early indication has you spot on. We got a couple more judges to check in. You can see the current Jeep leaderboard running at the bottom of your screen there. All the standing. Joel Parkinson currently 8th on that Jeep leaderboard. Looking good.
How good is Gabriel? I mean, that's this is the other part of the job that you've got to be good at as well. You've got to give the fans time. That's what made Kelly Slater so popular. He would win, lose or draw. He'd go down and sign autographs and take photos for hours on end. I remember the contest he won at Snapper Rocks. It was actually held at Kira where he beat Joel in the finals. He came out the water, did the trophy stage thing, signed autographs for about an hour and a half, did the press conference, and then paddled back out till dark.
What a hero.
What a hero.
That's why we call him the GOAT, right? Kelly Slater, the greatest of all time.
The GOAT.
Covering all the bases there. Well, Joel Parkinson, that score came in an 8.5. So, Potts, you were right. 8.5 combined with a 6.93. Now, Jeremy Flores in the blue jersey right here going left needs a near perfect score of a 9.86. Nice start here. And goes complete to finish on that left-hander. He doesn't need to do it just in one score right now, Potts. He needs one score, 8.96 will get him there, but he can also build it on two scores. You know, 2 8s basically will get him the lead.
Yeah, well, he's got plenty of time to do it. 7 minutes. So this is definitely a step in the right direction for Jeremy. Jeremy's one of those surfers that you know, if he lacks confidence, you can tell. But as soon as he finds that confidence, as soon as something clicks for him during a heat, then you know, he's got that ability to turn around. I mean, he's an unbelievable surfer. He's got game. He's a top 10 guy all day long, but just sometimes lacks that little bit of confidence. So if he can find that, put a good score on the board, get himself out of that situation where he's looking for a near perfect score. But that last wave is not going to do it quite.
Nope, 5.87, so the requirement remains the same, 9.56 for Jeremy Flores to take the lead. Well, he shaved a couple hundredths off.
Yeah, but still, it's you know, an excellent score required. But in saying that, you know, hey, a single-digit score, you can still do it. You know, that you just have to get the wave. There's a future surf star, probably. Double shakas, gotta love it.
Shaka, you know that sign right there, originated in Hawaii, and now it's global, right? Shaka's everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
Hang loose.
My little boy does it. Everyone does it.
Let's take a look at the heat recap, Potts.
Yeah, well, slow start for both guys, but Joel Parkinson slowly surfing himself into some sort of form, and he's finding those vertical maneuvers, which has been the point of difference. Joel not giving up and milking this one all the way through to the inside, 6.93, and then came this turn right here, probably the best turn of the heat. Just absolutely laying into it, letting those fins slide, showing some control, and then straight up into the lip again. So Joel Parkinson is just getting better and better, and again, his last two waves are his keepers. Jeremy Flores trying to fight his way back into this heat. On this occasion, just a 5.87, still looking for a near-perfect ride of a 9.56. Running out of time, though, Kaipo, down to the 5-minute mark.
Well, we talk about building scores throughout a heat. Look at this score line for the top for Joel Parkinson. 3.5, bettered that with a 4.5, bettered that with a 5.5, then a 6.33. Finally, his two keeper scores in green, a 6.93, and the top of the heap, an 8.5.
That's how you do it. He's an experienced competitor, and he knows exactly how to win heats. This man is a former world champion, former pipe master, Triple Crown winner, one of the best ever at J-Bay and Bells Beach. You can say he's one of the best ever. Smooth, clean style of surfing, yet radical.
Wow, looks like Strider's adding to already his really high profile here he has in Brazil with additional selfies. He's got, you know, sometimes he's racing Medina right now for the selfie count.
Absolutely. I think he's beating Medina with a selfie count. Although Medina's got a few more followers than he does.
He's working on that, though.
Yeah.
He's trying to chip away at the follower thing. Strider, Wazalewski, the Waz, always popular everywhere around the world that people surf, but especially here with such great surf fans. You walk down the main street over here with Strider.
You get mobbed.
You get mobbed.
Yeah. That's why when we walk down for dinner, I cross over and walk on the other side because it just takes too long to get to dinner with Strider.
You know what's the interesting thing to me, Potts? Is you're the early 89 world champ, all right?
I'm flying undercover there, mate.
Well, to the heat at hand, it's a tall order for Jeremy Flores as we're under the 4-minute mark, 3 minutes and 35 seconds, and Flores needs a high, excellent score of a 9.56 to take this heat off of Joel Parkinson. And Parko, we talked about it before, just showing you how he's a world champ. 2012 world champ, knows how to play this game, doesn't he?
Oh, he knows how to play it, and not just play, but play it at a very high level in all kinds of conditions.
You people playing fantasy surfer, shame on you, because only 1% of you have you on fantasy surfing, have Parko on your fantasy surfing team.
1%.
What are you guys thinking?
I know, really, come on. Thought you guys knew what you were doing.
Well, you can play fantasy surfing. It is a great way to get involved in the action. WorldSurfLeague.com is where you can do that. Wiggly Dante's getting into selfie action as well.
He's still down there. He came out the water like an hour ago, and he's still down there signing autographs, taking photos, spending time with the fans. Gotta love it.
And Flores just up and out as he sees that wave. Really not the potential for that 9.56 that he needs.
Yeah, Jeremy needs something extra special to come through. But he's got to have priority. And at the moment, Joel kind of has it nailed down. He's got the lead. He's got the single highest score. He's got a massive lead where Jeremy needs a close to perfect wave. Time is ticking away, and Joel is just going to try and control this last part of the heat.
He is controlling it right now. He's got priority. We're going to see if he's going to creep up into by Jeremy. But here's this pull-away shot, an illustration of the beach crowd this Friday afternoon here at Itauna Beach in Sakurema. A lot of these fans driving hours to get here to enjoy the surfing action.
Absolutely. I think the town is going to be absolutely on fire tonight, that's for sure. Tomorrow, another big day of surfing. Conditions are meant to be a lot better with offshore winds predicted. So it is going to be a fantastic weekend of surfing. Make sure everyone checks in tomorrow for the call around 7 o'clock a.m., maybe a 7:05 start. Here we go.
Parko just cruising through this, and he's out, but he does hand over priority, although I can't see where Jeremy Flores is and if there's going to be an opportunity for Flores as we're in the final minute.
Jeremy just a little bit further down the beach towards the left, so he's looking for something a little different right now. Just trying to mix it up, trying to create that distance. Why? Because Joel did have priority, so probably a smart move for Jeremy to try and create that gap. 40 seconds remaining though, so time is ticking right down, and Jeremy Flores still looking for a near perfect score.
Parko likely just to take this wave in because there's just 30 seconds remaining. Jeremy Flores hoping for a gift from the South Atlantic Ocean, and that's what he's going to need because we're down to 20 seconds.
Yeah, I think I don't think Jeremy's going to get another shot. It's like 10 seconds remaining, and it looks like Joel Parkinson. You can see Jeremy resigning himself to the fact that it is over, and moving through to round number 4. Joel Parkinson keeping his dream alive. Unfortunate for Jeremy, though, he's going to pack his bags. He's going to go to Fiji and warm up for the out-of-known Fiji Pro.
Well, there you go. We have our first surfer in Heat 2 of round number 4 here at the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona. We're going to bring in Pete and Giggs to call the last heat of the day. Mick Fanning versus Conor O'Leary coming up.
World Surf League now in its fourth stop. What a successful Australian leg. 3 amazing events. And now the action is across on the South Atlantic. The Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona in a new location here in 2017. Zone in on the sites of Rio de Janeiro, of course, Corcovado, Sugarloaf Mountain, all the amazing sights and sounds, the Maracanã Stadium, home to the Olympics of 2016, and of course hosting the world's best this time last year at Barra to the Juca. We're in a new location for 2017, about a 100-kilometer drive by road, an hour of weaving through the sights and sounds of Rio de Janeiro will bring you to Saquarema. Beautiful exposed beaches, south-facing, 2 podium sites on this 1-kilometer stretch of beach, and it cops a punch here. Welcome this afternoon, the final heat of the day's proceedings. Pig Saliers alongside Peter Mel calling an all-Australian showdown here. Mick Fanning taking on Conor O'Leary in the round 3 encounter. Of course, this time last year, neither Mick Fanning nor Conor O'Leary in the draw here in Brazil. Mick Fanning cherry-picking his way through a semi-sabbatical year last year, giving himself a little time off. Still finished 17th, though, with a win at J-Bay as part of the discussion, but he was not here in Rio de Janeiro. As we see Mick Fanning, the 3-time world champion, going to work, methodical, one of the true professionals of the sport in quick motion this morning. Of course, very early in Australia for family and friends on the Gold Coast watching. Welcome to Brazil this afternoon. Local time here moving towards 5 p.m. Conor O'Leary, of course, not on the championship tour this time last year, Pete. He was grinding away on that qualifying series and did a great job for the win.
As we take a look at the replay of that last wave, there was a few waves ridden early, just some mediocre scores. This is much better for Mick Fanning. A little 2-turn combo on a smaller wave. Glassy conditions, too. As we get later in the day, that wind lightens up. Taking a look at the replay of that first wave, Conor O'Leary came in at a 3. This backwash is still there. We saw the performance from Conor O'Leary earlier today, posting one of the highest heat totals. This was the first wave, or second wave, sorry, of Mick Fanning. As he connects with the roof and the wave shuts down and heat goes down. So difficult, that final section. You had the backwash, you had the shallow waters, you had the extra energy. It'd be tough to pull that last move down.
Well, someone who did a great job was Joel Parkinson getting the win over Jeremy Flores. He's down there with Strider Wasilewski.
Thank you, Giggs. Yeah, Joel, there's been a lot of hype on the beach, a lot of different things happening all over with the Brazilian storm. How do you just go through it and just focus on your own game?
Cool. I don't know, you just get down here late. You really got to. Like, it's intense being down here in amongst it all, and so I just kind of come down late and relax at home until it gets overwhelming, I guess, sitting here for hours and watching it. So I just come down half an hour before and go through the motion.
It's got to be, I guess, interesting to see the level of surfing and where it's gone with the fans.
It has. It's amazing. It's crazy to think that where surfing has gone from my first year in Brazil. I thought it used to be crazy then, and then I come down here now. I'm like, wow, this is, it's huge. It's, surfing it's an amazing sport. It's amazing to be a part of, and we love doing it. So everyone enjoys, I guess, doing it and watching it too.
Well, we've been loving watching you. A round 3 win. It's got to feel good jumping through.
Yeah, for sure. And that's always my hardest round. I find round 3, if I stumble, it's always there. And Jeremy got me in I had a really bad heat in West Oz. Margaret's against Jeremy. I just could have had no rhythm, and I really wanted to, not, come back with revenge or anything, but just change the rhythm of the heat and make sure he didn't get it. Because when he gets on a roll, he's unstoppable. He's done that to me a couple of times, and it was just nice to get him back because he's such a talented surfer. We really, we love our rail game, and he's probably got a fair bit of other flair in his repertoire than me, but he's an amazing surfer.
Well, there you go, Joel. Congratulations on a heat win. Boxing everything out and doing your work.
Cheers, Woz.
So great to have Joel Parkinson back in Brazil. Same can be said for Mick Fanning. Both of them not in the draw this time last year. Now McFanning checking scores in of a 5.17 and a 3.57 for the early start. 7 minutes into this final heat of the day. Of course, the 30-minute formula with best two waves counting is the norm, unless otherwise stated.
Well, if you have inconsistent conditions, you'll add an extra 5 minutes. The commissioners will do that, 35 minutes. Generally, that's about as long as they get, unless we have a final, and sometimes we'll see those finals go into the 40-minute range, but half hour should be good enough. I mean, shoot, when we were starting in the back of the day, it was 15 minutes, and you had 6 guys in the water with you. Now, as the evolution has continued, and man-on-man format, but also just having 4-man priority, all of those things kind of refining and evolving the sport. You wonder when the next big turn will happen in the sport of surfing, because I'm sure it will be coming.
Absolutely.
Is it the wave pools? Is it formats?
Is it both?
Is it both?
It's been a great day with you, Pete, here. Loving our time here in Brazil. You see we're getting to that late afternoon, just around 4:45.
How's that mist?
Yeah.
Beautiful sights.
What's interesting with this shot is that the sun is oblique to the beach line here, which means that we are south-facing. It's an unusual angle for an otherwise east-facing coastline. It is 8,000 kilometers of east-facing coastline predominantly. Home to 2 million surfers.
And how many millions of people?
Well, 240 million, I think it is. You got me there. I'll have to Wikipedia that tonight.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of people.
That's right.
And they are growing up as a nation as well, dare I say, in every way. Brazil is part of the global picture. There's Mick Fanning. Looking for more waves here. Conor O'Leary holding the priority though. So Fanning will be smart and work under that priority banner, looking for these right-handers. That's the story here as the tide starts moving out again here in Saquarema this late afternoon. Conditions have held, and the commissioner has kept the competition rolling. Here we go. A big round 2 appearance earlier. Conor O'Leary, just the one opportunity though.
That was too bad. He saw that he pulled the turn down, was straight back into the bottom turn, and then just couldn't get there quick enough. Had to pull down, straighten out. Wasn't able to get that second maneuver, so that's going to affect the score. Looked like he was almost there. See again, loads up the bottom turn, snaps it hard, and then right back up there, couldn't get there. And instead gives it up. This is probably a good angle too to see where he was at on that bottom turn. As he comes around it, it is already cupping out. Knew he couldn't get there. Decided against it.
Well, we saw a great round 2 performance from Conor O'Leary earlier. 18.2 heat total. He absolutely smashed it as he got rid of Stu Kennedy in round 2. Went into the excellent category scores. Really brought that strong flexing backhand. Of course, that is what got him his big qualifying series win last year down in Ballito in South Africa.
Well, he had the 4th highest single wave with the 9.2, and he couples that with a high 8, gets himself into that 18-point range. Anytime you put 18 points on the board, that means you are one of the informed surfers, especially of that round or even of the entire heat totals. So good job there for Conor O'Leary putting it together earlier today. And it was that strong backhand.
Making Cronulla proud. Did fall in round 1 though to Joel Parkinson, but has fought his way back. Let's have a look at Conor O'Leary.
Look into his
earlier today, Pete.
His warm-up routine, but again, he was able to connect top to bottom, real vertical approach, using that backhand to his advantage. See how I got underneath the surfboard there for that final maneuver. Stu Kennedy gave him a bit of a run. Stewart has had some good performances in his heat. He just hasn't been able to get the heat wins. Well, he keeps coming up to an informed surfers in his heats. Conor O'Leary being that guy in this one.
Well, Stu Kennedy still finding a 15.18 here, Pete, but it was Conor O'Leary all the way in this round 2 heat earlier today.
Well, and that's what it is that he's been able to put those point totals up, but somehow his opponent has been able to put up higher heat totals and not able to get the heat wins. You see again that upside down approach on the backhand.
Rock solid performances from the young man from Cronulla. So we see him ease out of the lineup here. We'll go back and find out what's kept Connor O'Leary busy in the last few minutes. Leaves Mick Fanning out the back. Little under 18 minutes to play here. Let's have a look at Connor here.
On the replay when we were checking him out, again, see how he has that backhand. He's able to go straight up. And that's the advantage of having that ability to load up off the heel edge, and then you can press yourself straight up because you're able to tuck your arm underneath and get vertical. Use that toe edge to wrap that turn.
So wave runners in effect here, as has been all day long. Lots of water movement through the lineup here in Brazil. More than what meets the eye. Lots of sweep left to right of screen.
Just unique that a lot of Connor O'Leary's boards, he rides swallowtails. And if you look throughout the quivers of most of the guys on tours, they've got a lot of swallowtails.
Yeah.
And he rides them on all of his equipment. And what does the swallowtail do? Is it at a slower speed, it has a lot of bite, you know, so again, it'll have release too, but you know, when you start to slow it down, it'll give you that ability to really dig that tail in and arc that turn. And he's been riding those boards and been loving them. Even, you know, I was gonna say, like my son rides the swallowtails on his backhands and loves it. Not a lot of guys would be sold on that for that backhand, but he's into it and it's been working for him really well.
Well, interestingly enough, Mick Fanning with his win at J-Bay last year also with the declining swell, thinner waves, went to the swallowtail, went shorter and wider and thicker, but then still held it all together with little swallows. So it's the swallows, as you said, not making up a majority of the quivers these days, but still has its worth.
It does. Yeah,
in fact, you've got one.
I do. I do.
6.2 version, right?
Yep. People are trying to steal it off me.
Well, early days here, approaching the halfway mark still. Final heat of the day as we see Connor O'Leary back in motion. Little in and out for the man from Cronulla. Of course, think of all the great Australian goofy footers out of the region. 99 world champ Mark Okilupo from the same town. Before that, Richard Dog Marsh representing from the area. Any other names come to mind from the Cronulla area, Pete?
I know that there is a few more on.
It's a lot of history to go now. You know, the sport's 40 years old and it's its 41st year. So it gets harder and harder to keep up with the histories, right?
It sure does, especially in my brain.
Well, someone who's written a major part of the history books is this man on screen, Mick Fanning. As I say, this time last year not present here in Brazil due to a semi-hiatus. Still managed to qualify with a fistful of events. See Fanning planing in here. Inside double up stack here. Fanning threads the tube. The Brazilians love it.
Yeah, Mick is a very popular surfer, even here, you know, being that he's waving the Australian flag, but even here in Brazil, you know, like guys like John, super popular. So they understand it's not just Brazilians that they get excited about. They love a popular surfer, and Mick being the guy that he is. As you see this wave, he sets it up. It almost feels like he saw this with a barrel and he really quickly went into it. Maybe could have even hesitated slightly before he pulled in the back door. This is a good angle here from up top, but he did pump into it, so he's really quickly in and out of it. But I think he was relying a lot of that importance on that final maneuver. He saw that section, so anticipating almost 2 sections ahead. You know, Mick Fanning's always been able to do that. That's why he's had such great success on this championship tour and all those world titles.
As Mick Fanning heads back to the zone, we'll take a quick break. Stay with us. The back half of this All-Australian clash to wrap up the day coming at us. The late afternoon here in Saquarema in Brazil hosts the world's best. We've used multiple locations. You can see Taj Burrow has won here at this very location. And have a look back through the history books there. Mick Fanning, a win here in 2016 back in Santa Catarina. Of course, a rich history here, Pete. You've been here on a number of occasions. Any favorite wins there amongst all of that?
I just taken notice of all the different names. It's not an event that has really been giving a lot of wins to one surfer. Dave McCauley being the winningest of 4 events, but generally it's been a mix of all sorts of athletes.
Well, the first win to Pepe Lopez back in 76. Nice big hit for Conor O'Leary. Such an efficient backhand that won him the qualifying series last year. Now in the rookie class of 2017, currently occupying 13th on the Jeep leaderboard, arriving here at this 4th stop. Mick Fanning down at 19th, but Mick did climb 3 places. Care of a quarterfinal finish to wrap up the Australian leg. But Conor O'Leary's been very consistent, quarterfinaling at the beginning of the year, Pete. Let's have a look at this one.
And as a rookie, to get that quarterfinals is so solid, and it'll help his confidence, especially being the first event of the year. As you see, this rotation, love it on his backhand. He is able to just carve out of the lip.
Wow, picking up on Mick Fanning live here as he's sparking his way through a delivery.
In contrast, that's the forehand. He's able to kind of spring out of the lip, karate chop the back foot through the lip. So contrasting styles, but both work to big value. But a close heat. Look at the two-wave totals. 9.3 to 9.10. See how this exchange unfolds. Just again, watch that last wave. The quick snap on that first turn. All important first maneuver. Again, stays with it. And then this rotation, you see, carves almost all the way around it. Such great technique. Kind of different than the backhand style of a Wiggly Dantas, but still just as effective. As you watch Mick Fanning now, springing into the lip, getting the release out of the fins. A little 2-turn combo. Straight out of it, connecting. And we've seen 2-turn maneuvers turn into 9-point rides.
Mick Fanning been on tour since 2002, Pete. Crazy. How long he has been at the highest level of the sport.
Well, he took that hiatus, as you had mentioned, surfed a few events throughout the tour last year, but took a major break, and then making the decision to come back. So he must love this tour.
One of the other great Australian goofy footers of the previous chapter of history, Luke Egan, looking on. Numbers settling in for our athletes. One more score to check in now for that 2-turn combo. Tight reactions from Mick Fanning will find a 6.23 come to his scorecard. He'll take the lead with that. Previous ride, a 6.5 for Conor O'Leary as the rookie loads up. High line drive, he'll go incomplete there, so a little over the inside edge. He'll spill it.
So this last 10 minutes is going to be so important. Really tight. You know, they both have a 6. Both have a 5, but really splitting hairs by 0.10, tenth of a point between these two. So it's going to be an exciting finish to the last 9 minutes here. Mistake right there by Conor O'Leary. He wasn't able to capitalize with priority. Let's see what Mick can do as that #1 spot.
Well, talking about #1 spots, the ticker tape runs through the history books there. See Mick Fanning's name appear 3 times as a champion of the sport. Peeling it all the way back. Keep looking at those names.
And it'd be interesting, the fact is he's coming back, and he's not coming back to just finish in the top 10. He's coming back for another world title.
That's what I love about 2017. Kelly stuck his neck out, said, I'm going for it. Mick's here, he's going for it. Joel's publicly stated he's going for it. So 3 world champions.
Plus you have all the top guys that have finished from last year. Jordy, John, Gabriel, Adriano, all vying for it. You see Kono Igarashi even getting in on the mix.
We love where we are at in the history and the maturing of the sport. And of course, no better place for fan appreciation than here in the Brazilian South Americas. That wind's been pretty good to us all day too as well, Pete, as we look at the overview of the lineup here. Fairly windless most of the day.
Well, and again, looking forward into tomorrow. Surfline forecasting good winds for then as well. So for the weekend crowds, might be pretty nice to be able to get competition again underway.
Connor O'Leary patrolling the lineup while Mick Fanning holds priority here. Not a big requirement for the Cronulla surfer. 4.9, easily achieved. And a view within a view here as you see the beach scenes here in Saquarema this afternoon. It's been a big day of surfing. Pulled the trigger for a 7:05 start this morning. We went through round 2 of the men, round 2 of the women. Of course, Pete, you'll be on the post show in a couple of minutes, breaking down a big day, because it has been another big day in the sport. Let's have a look at the heat recap of this All-Australian showdown. Mick Fanning was first out the gates with power surfing again.
Well, there's the 5.17 from Mick. 4.9 here from Connor O'Leary. Again, close battle. Connor does have the best wave of the heat. He has the 6.5 that there with that rotation off that final maneuver. Nice solid first turn and a solid second turn. This is the 6 of Mick Fanning, a 6.23 as he kicks the fins out the back. Mick having a tough start to the year so far, but I'm sure he's going to find his way back up the rankings here throughout the back half of the year. But talk about that seeding, you know, and when you have a low seed like he had starting out this year, makes his road to that top of the podium harder, you know, because he has had those he's going to have. You know, we saw Kelly Slater and him have a first round heat together, so it's amazing.
Well, Pete, have a look at the work rate here as well. Connor O'Leary working a little harder to extract 8 waves out of the lineup here in Saquarema. Green blocks indicate highest counting 2 scores. And as you mentioned, Pete, that 6.5 just pips Mick Fanning's 6.23 for the highest of the heat thus far.
Well, and you look at the allocation needed from Connor O'Leary, just a 4.9. So it's going to be a unique last 5 minutes as Mick Fanning holds that priority. I mean, what a finish to the day, though. You know, it's just beautiful sunset, lots of colors on the beach, and look at that. What a day.
What a day it's been. Our 4th day of the waiting period here. The Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona, bringing the world's best to the shores of Brazil. We are down now to the final 5 minutes.
Big day for those guys too.
Yeah.
They have been running and gunning each and every heat.
Of course, the jet skis or personal watercraft, however you want to call it, in effect at most of our locations on the championship tour. Pete, you and I have both done some time on those things.
We have. One of the best machines for what we do. Can maneuver through the surf. It's not easy either. You know, timing. You're, of course, having a big responsibility too to take care of the surfers and get them out there without.
I love that shot,
them.
Pete, with all the water moving behind them. Just goes to show how much water movement there is here on this elbow of coastline here in the tip of the East Coast. Lots of deep water movement on the outside, ushering in constant swells onto these sandbars here in Saquarema. And in much in the same way, snow and mountain resorts for skis and snowboarders are using the ski lifts. Well, our surfers use the personal watercraft to get the athletes back to the zone as quick as possible. And a great day for everyone that's concerned here. As you mentioned, Pete, young stars like Kanoa Igarashi now his 2nd year on tour. And the Brazilians are passionate.
What's crazy is that you have these same level of crowds, say at the US Open in America, but they're not going to be as vocal, they're not going to be as colorful, they're not going to be as exuberant.
3.5 minutes to go here. Mick Fanning, a precarious lead, dare I say. It's not cast in stone just yet. A small requirement is all Connor O'Leary needs, but Mick Fanning is holding that initial priority. Here is, according to the rule book, these are how the points finish. Of course, one of these surfers out in the water is going to finish equal 13th here in a couple of minutes' time. He'll take home 1,750 points. Who will it be? And of course, everyone's after the win for the full 10,000 points. as Mick Fanning did get at Jeffreys Bay last year.
And that was the help that had him finish only surfing, I think, 5 events all season long and still qualified.
Amazing story. Seth's approaching here.
He knew how many points he needed to amass to make the cut line.
It was all calculated, right?
And, generally, if you're going to have 11 events, you can kind of make a read of what that number 22 spot looks like. You need about 20,000 points. He was able to accumulate that, and he was able to finish and keep his spot. Didn't have to go for any wild cards. We had a couple injured surfers with Bede Durbridge coming back, Owen Wright coming back.
Amazing story.
So he didn't want to take any of those spots away. Well, you probably wouldn't have been able to get him because he wasn't injured. You have to apply for it and have a serious injury to utilize those injury wild cards.
Yep. Mick finished 17th in 2016 with that win. Semi-finals and a quarterfinals in Fiji. So great stuff for Mick Fanning. Keeping a very close eye on the clock here. Of course, just that small requirement to remind you about here, folks. The rookie Conor O'Leary needing just a 4.9. Nice to see Carlos Burley helping us here in 2017. Conor O'Leary will attack here. Inside right-hander. 90 seconds remaining on the clock. Big leverage on those backhand turns. He kicks it with aggression.
Needs a 4.9.
Pete, what are you thinking?
I feel like that's enough. I mean, he, without priority, took a much smaller wave, but there was some good surfing. There was some flair. Draws off the sandbank and got steep. He was able to go vertical 2 separate times. Feels like it's enough. I don't know.
Wow. Him and Jean Dury have brought electric backhand surfing in the rookie class of 2017 to the big stage.
Well, Mick better understand that he has an opportunity here. I mean, he's got to catch a wave.
Well, Mick knows that he's still got to grind out another score. So here we go, all-important number, because O'Leary has found the score. So Mick Fanning, this is an all-important wave. Big hit as well. Holds on. Yes, he likes it. Spice it up with a bit of theatrics, because Mick is down into second looking for the 5.68. So great little showdown here.
We were talking about that last 9 minutes being exciting. It actually came down to the last minute before it got exciting. Conor O'Leary grinded out the score, got enough to take the lead, but I think this needs to be a 5.68. First turn, he had to cut it short because he knew he had to get to this section. Almost bobbles the bottom turn, kind of tentative out of the top. Was it a 5.68?
Well, we'll wait and see. We're waiting
touch
for
and
scores.
go, huh?
We've wrapped it up. The clock is done. And we'll stay with this moment here. Just a little lull in the swell patterns here.
Oh, there was a sizable set wave, too.
Conor O'Leary did find the requirement of the 5.4. And
there
waiting
it is.
now for the number to check in, a 7.17. Mick's done it. He's found the win here in round 3. He's going to put the rookie down to bed for a 13th place finish. So a great tense moment to wrap up the surfing action here. Stay with us. The post-show with Kaipo, Pete and Strider will be with us in just a few minutes. We'll bring the surfing action to a close here. Stay with us. The post-show is up next from Brazil.